Want to close the door?
Hey everybody, it's Louis Amestoy here on HS Game Time Live. Glad that you could be with us here in week number 2, actually our third week of the season, and a lot to get to tonight. We have got lots of scores. I got one coming in right now via text message. San G is getting rolled over by number 1 ranked Redlands East Valley, 28-0. Really, the note was San G's got nothing against Rev right now. So what started off as sort of a slow game for Redlands East Valley has turned into a rout here early on. 28-0, the late score there. There are a lot of scores I wanted to kind of just thumb through here. Heritage leading Beaumont right now, 27-9. But one of the players, I think his name is Michael Taylor, has been injured in the game, possibly with a broken arm. That's according to our videographer there on scene. Hemet leading Indio 24-20. A score from a fan right now. A gigantic, weird game going on in Ontario between Etiwanda and Norco. 38-28. Etiwanda leading this one. Colton Gerhardt had 164 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns. The quarterback for Etiwanda, Cuthbert, 11 of 18 for 209 yards, 2 touchdown passes. Cuthbert also has a 79 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. Interesting game developing there. Of course, Alamany and North, this is one we were all keeping an eye to. 35-28 now is the score. This game has been back and forth. This game has been we'll have actually some video of this one shortly. This game has been all back and forth. It's exactly what we expected. If North can somehow pull us out, this would be a huge win for North going into the Big 8 season and in the state rankings for that matter too. Alamany currently ranked 4th in the Pac-5, 7th in the state according to Cal High Sports. Some of the notes right now from Eric Paul Johnson. It was 21-21 at halftime. Perry's opened with a trick play for the second straight week. His running back Denzel Foster found Garrett Biggers for a 34-yard completion. 2 plays later, Justin Georgie scored on 1-yard quarterback sneak. Some of the highlights we'll have here in a moment. Adam Drexler back from the game here. Vista Murrieta controlling the game against Santiago, 17-0. Really no surprise there. Santiago had some problems last week against Chino Hills. Vista Murrieta, our number 2 ranked team in our poll. Hammett, as we mentioned, 24-20 over Indio. Roosevelt, 34-30, a very good game there down in southwest Riverside County between Roosevelt and Murrieta Valley. 34-30. This has been an exciting one. Pauley leading Arlington, 14-7. I thought it was Arlington leading Pauley. Maybe I'm
Actually,
wrong.
You're right. Arlington is leading Pauley by a score of 14-9.
Yes.
Got Jeff?
14-7. Jeff Prunty's now with us here.
We have an update on the Hemet Indio game from Matt Jocks. It's now 31-27 Hemet with 3:45 left in the third. Ricky Inglet on a 90-yard kickoff return, and then Indio fumbled, and Hemet had the ball and was driving up 31-27.
So a shootout between Hemet looking for its first win of the season. It's trying to snap a 7-game losing streak dating back to last season. It's Arlington leading Pauley, not on our blog. It's 14-7 Arlington right now with 3:39 left to go in the third. 14-9, I apologize. Mater Dei was leading Centennial 13-7 at the half. That would be a huge win for Mater Dei after losing to Carson. Paloma Valley and West Valley in a shootout. This is the night, shootouts, by the way. We'll get to Dave Zink in a minute, get some of his thoughts here in a moment. Lakeside, a little bit of a surprise. And Lakeside's played tough all season. They have been leading teams at halftime. They're leading Temecula Valley. Were leading Temecula Valley 10-0. Citrus Hill and Great Oak. Citrus Hill, what was that? Was it 49-7 when Nels left? Is that what it was, Dave?
42-7.
42-7. So really no problems there. Murrieta Mesa continue to show their improvement. They're beating Tahakowitz 28-7. Tahakowitz has put the scare into several teams this year, but apparently not Murrieta Mesa, as Chase Chambers has 3 touchdown passes and ran one in from a yard out. So a big night for Chase Chambers.
Just went up 34-32 end of the third quarter.
Got a score update there. Roosevelt now up 34-32 down at Murrieta Valley. So that's a great game, a great Inland Division game that we want to talk about. And let's talk about a team that we really like here, Cajon, crushing Kaiser, reversing what happened to them last year where they were blown away by Kaiser. It was 31-7 at the half. Desmond Ferreira had a 64-yard touchdown run. All right, let's introduce the rest of the crew here tonight. On camera number 4, Dave Zink. Dave, that's your head. There he is. That's going to be an attractive
Jeff
shot.
Right
Jeff Prunty is raising his hand as well. Put Jeff on. Let's say hello to Jeff for the night. Jeff, good to have you here. What do you know? What's new?
Mater Dei now 20-7 over Centennial.
So Centennial looking for an 0-2 start, a 3-game losing streak possibly.
Now that's shocking, Lois.
That is shocking. Not really. It's not really shocking. Come on, Zink.
Here you go. Now you're going to fight on the it's not shocking. Wait, Centennial starts 0-2, and now all of a sudden that's not shocking?
That's not shocking.
How many games have they won the last 10 years?
I don't know.
It's shocking.
Hundreds of games.
It's shocking.
Hundreds
You're
of
full
games.
of it.
Well, I mean, I think accordingly, I think we'll have a stat here in a minute, like 140 games. As we mentioned, Rev is leading San G, the number 1 ranked team that we have in the inland area, according to our HS Game Time staff. The Roosevelt Murrieta Valley game has been a shootout. Santiago Vista Murrieta winning that one. And kind of a matchup of, it's a kind of a day of the Southwestern League versus the Big 8 tonight. Elsinore had an early lead over Diamond Ranch 7-2 at one point. Just looking through the rest of my notes. Palm Springs and Moreno Valley, according to the Desert Sun, 34-14, Palm Springs leading that one. Not really a surprise to say that.
It will be annoying to have to listen to Erkley with a 3-0 Palm Springs team.
Yes, Chris Erkley. He is quite annoying with those mighty Palm Springs Indians. King and La Sierra. That one, I think it was King. Was King leading that one, or was La Sierra winning that one?
20-10 last time I heard.
20-10 La Sierra. 20-10 La Sierra. Let me just note that real quick so I can have that in there. That would drop King to 0-3 on the season, while La Sierra would move to 2-0.
Correct that King score. It's 20-13.
20-13 now. La Sierra is our now corrected score. Other games we're going to follow. We mentioned Tahquitz and Murrieta Mesa, Indio and Hemet, San Jacinto and Cathedral City. Bill Powell on the looking for win number 101. Kaiser and Cajon. We talked about Oak Hill's playing at Rialto. Rialto's off to a 2-0 start. Palm Desert was crushing San Bernardino 49-0. That was at halftime. Down in the desert, another game as well. Desert Mirage was leading Banning 21-6. We'll talk more about the Mountain Valley League and some of their travels here as well. Well, good to have you joining us here on our third show of the season, week number 2 formally, but our third week of the season as we get things going here on HS Game Time Live. If you have not noticed, if you actually go back to the main page on PE.com, I believe you can go into the chat room. We'll have the chat room working here shortly on the HS Game Time page. So if you'd like to give us some comments or some chat, we would love to have that from you. And if we see anything, if you have a score or a comment, please get them on there. We'll go ahead and read those through the night.
9:09.
9:09. Oh, it's 9:09. Right. We're. Thank you for the time update, Dave. So there it is, right there. Somewhere, sorry, it's over here. I can't point at it. 9:09 here on the night. All right. Dave Zink keeping the time for us here on the show.
On the program, Lewis.
On the program. All right, let's go to, we have some video from last night. Ramona playing host to Norte Vista. And you've got that queued up, Dave, and ready to go. This one was a low-scoring one in the first half. The visiting Braves led 3-0 at the break. Third quarter, Norte with back-to-back touchdowns. Ryan Ruiz punches one in and gives the Braves a 16-0 lead. The Rams not ready to give up this one. Reggie Kelly rips off a 46-yard run to get Ramona on the board. Look at this run here, running people over as he goes in for the score. And then later in the third, quarterback T.J. Miller calls his own number, and he's gone. Miller makes it a 2-point game on this score. Ramona down now 16-14 here into the third quarter. Down to the fourth in the final minutes. Norte Vista quarterback Daniel Duraslet springs loose on this run and gives the Braves an 8-point advantage, 22-14, as he makes the run here. The quarterback's doing some work here, aren't they? Last chance for Ramona. The Rams march in the field when Miller is picked off by Austin Turner with just over a minute to play. Norte Vista hanging on for its first win of the season, 22-14. Dave Zink, Ramona off to that great win against King. They played Pauley tough last week. They lose a tough one against Norte Vista last night. So Ramona 1-2 now. is still a good story, or is it we're gonna see how this thing plays out for the rest of the season?
I have to say that it has to be a great story because they've been competitive in all 3 games that they've played. They obviously haven't come away with 3 wins, but for a team that went winless last year, I'd have to say this is a good start. There's a lot of things that they can build on. You could see the excitement on the sidelines too. There's not that kind of woe is me kind of mentality that Ramona had last year. They really seem to be interested in winning some games and working hard. And there was a coach that ran out on the field who was just thrilled when there was a defensive player made a great hit and fumble recovery, and you could see that the excitement on that sideline.
All right, Cajon has obliterated Kaiser. That is the final score now, 52-7. 52-7, Cajon over Kaiser. That is a very impressive win for Cajon. That's got to be one of the worst losses.
Who saw that coming, Lewis?
Not you.
No, I didn't see that coming. In fact, that might as well be a 100-point game because Kaiser's
that's got to be one of the worst losses in Kaiser's history.
It's got to be. Well, I mean, and they're a very defensive team, and they gave up 52 points. It's like another team giving up 80 points.
Look, if I were to say, if that was a pick 'em on the score, I would have said maybe 30-20, 30-15. I think Cones could have, but 52-7. Wow.
Yeah. That's pretty impressive.
We had an 8-man game going on earlier, and let me just preface this by saying that Eric Paul Johnson, Norco now leading Etowanda 35-30 third quarter still. That game is going crazy. That game might go to midnight. Oh, Jeff Brain now breaking in.
Oh, this Hemet game is wild. It's gone back and forth. Hemet was down 20-10 at the half and then scored the first 2 touchdowns of the second half. Hemet's now up 38-27 in the third, still in the third quarter. But Indio was driving actually into the third quarter, going into the fourth. Ricky Inglet, 90-yard return for 1 score, and then pass from Roselle to Garcia for the second score, 38-27 now. Hemet going to the fourth.
Hemet trying to snap a 7-game losing streak, as we talked about. Getting Jeff, is it Richt is his name, first name, or I can't remember what his last name is. I think it's Jeff is his first name, the new coach at Hemet. Do you know what his name is off the top of your head? I should know these things because I keep all the Hemet history, but I can't remember.
It's not Georgia anymore, is it?
No, it's Jeff Richt, I think, or something like that. We'll look it up here and get it right. But
they change coaches so often, it's kind of hard to keep up with the name.
They've only had 3 in the last 3 years.
Did you just say that?
I did. All right, hey, drop the lower third for a quick second, and let me go ahead and we preface this next clip that we're going to have. Eric Paul Johnson said that one team that might be assured of a CIF championship might be this one we'll see next, Bloomington Christian. 8-man football. Pep Fernandez was out there shooting this one, and let me go ahead and show this video here real quick. So this is the coin toss out in Community Field in Redlands. Gorgeous day. All right, this is Bloomington Christian's Rayvon Williams picking off. This is Public Safety Academy from San Bernardino and Bloomington Christian. So Williams with the interception. Ensuing drive, Kyle Melton on a quarterback keeper. 60-yard touchdown run. 8-man football is thrilling. And he is in for the score. It's now 8-0 after this. Public safety with the ball. The Ravens, Theo Sudeth with the sack on the quarterback. Same drive. The Phoenix Cruz Duke. Ben Diaz, great one-handed catch. There you go. Look at that. Look at that catch again. That's a great catch. 8-man football at its best. PSA's drive ends with BCHS's Jerome Bayless making the pick. All right, long run for the Ravens. That would set up this touchdown by Barry Cottle, I believe it is. Ouch. Whoa. That didn't look very good, huh? Here's the touchdown run. And late in the second quarter, Bayless springs loose on this touchdown run for Bloomington Christian, who won this game 50-0 out in Redlands. So a good win there for our guys from Bloomington Christian. And Dave Zink. Yes.
I just wanted to give you a little update on the Riverside Poly Arlington game. Mm-hmm. Poly just scored with 44 seconds left. I guess it was a pass play. They lead now 15-14. So we'll have to see if Arlington can answer back. I guess that safety that they got to make it 9 really helped. Right. It could be 16-14 here after the PAT, but 16-14, and they need a field goal. Obviously, Arlington's going to need a field goal to win.
15-14. That's an interesting result as well that we're going to get to. All right, we've got some things to get to. We've got a lot of things to get to. There's a lot of kind of fun things to talk about. tonight. And let me look at my list again. You know, you would have thought I would have had that list memorized before. All right, so let me just show you real quick the games. Drop the lower third for a second. Hey, and make sure that the mute buttons are on the DDRs. Okay, good. All right, so here's our some things we're going to show you tonight. These are the games we're shooting in video. Santiago at Vista Murrieta. Chris Erkley's at that game. Kaiser at Cajon. Jennifer Whitaker heading back with video from that. Redlands East Valley at San G. Matt Shaman already leaving and on his way to getting that video up. Heritage at Beaumont. Patrick Stevens shooting that one for us. Citrus Hill at Great Oak. Nels Jensen, after his great dog video today, is making that one available. Taquas at Murrieta Mesa. Angel Ortiz is there. Allen at North will be up momentarily. And Arlington and Riverside Poly, that will be back. Pep Hernandez will be back for that one here in a few minutes. So check out our website on number 6 we have it up, Dave? Number 6 is where we have this one up. There we go. We'll show it to you here in a moment. And there it is. That's actually, no, it's somewhere on the website, the video player's there. And you can see it. There it is. It's loading up. So go there and find our videos. And there's Alameda at North. So we can talk about that one in a couple of minutes here. You can see some of the footage from this game, which has been absolutely wild. All right. My next topic of conversation are the rankings, Dave. Are you ready for the rankings? Okay. So here are the top 10 teams right now with the HS Game Time rankings. Redlands East Valley, we were kind of debating whether or not they belonged at number 1, but clearly they do. All right, we have a break. Here's a Jeff Prunty update. Let's go to Jeff real quick. Camera number 4, please.
From Santa Ana, Romello Goodman. With an 18-yard run, it is now 20-14 Mater Dei over Centennial with 1:51 left in the third. Centennial quarterback Hayden Gavitt has 107 yards rushing on 10 carries. Goodman is 50 yards on 15 carries. So Mater Dei Centennial within a touchdown at Mater Dei.
That's going to be. Let's see if Centennial what they're made of here. You know, if they can come back and rally in this game, it's going to be critical for them. I mean, this is basically 3 tough games in a row they've had to play over the last year or so. So we'll keep an eye on how that one is shaping up with Centennial losing down in Santa Ana to Mater Dei. Okay, back to our rankings, Dave. So we talked about Rev. They kind of jumped up, and they are now the number 1 team after Centennial loses last week. Vista Murrieta number 2, Norco number 3, Centennial, as we mentioned, 4, Rancho Verde 5. And keep in mind that Rancho Verde and Redlands East Valley have sort of a common opponent in San G, both basically winning by the same margin here. Elsinore is playing Diamond Ranch. They're ranked 6. Cajon clearly making a statement tonight with a 52-0 or 52-7 win over Kaiser. That was a huge win. Heritage beating Beaumont. Summit is playing Fontana, and North playing Alameda down here at RCC. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to go to our first commercial break of the night, our first break of the night, and we're going to load that one into break number 1 on the DDR. So a lot to get to throughout the night. We're going to have some more discussion about some of the top coaches. We had a milestone win last week with Bill Powell. Look also for us in the chat room as well. I think it's out on PE.com on the main PE.com page, and you've got a lot to get to. And show us your scores, show us what you've got, and check us out on the chat room here on HS Game Time Live. Okay, well, we figured that out. I'm going to talk a little bit more about some of the scores that we have in. Again, Citrus Hill absolutely dominating Great Oak, 42-7. This has been a huge win for Citrus Hill, a setback for Great Oak. Citrus Hill really doing it, I think, with their quarterback more than anything. He has just had a great start to the season and is just completely and utterly dominating. The early focus was on Davian Payne, the running back there, but really the quarterback has done a lot of the work here. Here it is again. Trevor Hodge was 11 of 14 early on in the game for 168 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 on the ground. Kendall Moore had caught 3 touchdown passes. So, that's really kind of standard for Citrus Hill. It's really been the passing game and the play of the quarterback this season. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back here more on HS Game Time Live.
We are your breaking news leader. When news happens, stay up to date with expanded coverage in the Press Enterprise delivered to your home. Follow the story throughout the day on PE.com. Receive news updates in your inbox or on your mobile device. That is how we keep you connected to your community. The Press Enterprise and PE.com. For home delivery, call 1-800-794-NEWS.
All right, guys, we got to be smarter about what we bite on, okay? I want everyone to go outside. We're going to run Red Rover on 3.
What about you, Tony?
I'm going to run around in circles, flat my arms, and make engine noises like this.
When it comes to playing, we kids are the pros.
We're eating right, too.
We fuel up
To play 60!
Your school doesn't have a program? Be a leader. Start one.
Click today and join the movement.
What are your thoughts on Amistoy and Zink hosting that thing?
I think they're great. I love how they play off of each other and how they have a good time. So, but it kind of reminds me of the Channel 5 morning news. You know how they, at least a couple of years ago, they used to kind of screw around there and have some fun. It just makes it fun to watch. You're lighthearted, and then plus you're getting the information you need.
We cover the issues you care about. Here at the Press Enterprise and PE.com, local news matters whether you live along Route 66 or on Main Street. We provide regional analysis and in-depth investigation of issues like education, transportation, the environment, and much more. Important matters are covered here. That is how we keep you connected to your community. The Press Enterprise and PE.com. For home delivery, call 1-800-794
And there we are. We're back now. It's always an interesting night for us here on HS Game Time Live. And we've got a lot of final scores to get to. Heritage has beaten Beaumont 34-9. A good win for the Patriots as they move to 3-0, continuing their hot streak right now. I think they've won 13 consecutive regular season games. Beaumont will take a break. I think next week. I think they have a bye. I'll have to double check that. Heritage will face a showdown against Rancho Verde next week, who is off. So that will be an interesting one to get to. We talked about Mater Dei and Centennial. We talked about Alemany and North. We'll get back to these here. Let me check to see if we have any more updates. Mater Dei is 20-14 over Centennial in the third quarter. Romello Goodman scored late for Centennial as they continue to drive. Rev will win this game. They win 35-0 over San G. That's an interesting game we talked about here. Murrieta Mesa crushing Tahquitz 42-7. Murrieta Mesa looking very, very good. All right, Jeff Perenni's got an update for us.
Riverside North scored on a 1-yard run by Denzel Foster with 53 seconds to go in the fourth quarter against number 7 ranked Alemany, and decided to bring the score to 35 Alemany, 34 North. North decided to go for 2. Quarterback Georgie rolled out and ducked inside the pylon to convert the 2-point conversion. 53 seconds to go. North leads number 7 Alemany 36-35.
Okay, we have a major story developing here because we were talking about this before, that if North should win this game, that clearly they will put themselves immediately on the map in California because of the magnitude of this win. We're talking about a team that lost to Servite, I believe, in the semifinals last year of the Pac-5, was ranked as high as 7th in the state right now, and they have had a difficult time containing North's speed tonight. That's clear by the video that we saw early on from Adam Drexler. We'll show it to you here in a moment. Tell Adam to cue that video up. We'll get some of the stuff up here right now. And this could be, if they can hold this win together, that's an enormous win for North, putting them right back into it. And I would say that makes them the favorite to win the Big 8. Dave Zink, what do you think?
I'm going to say that they're going to be in the hunt for the Big 8. I'm not going to give them the Big 8 right now. This is week 3 of the season, and they're coming off a pretty rough run of a couple years. So I would say that they're looking really good right now. But
don't you feel like this could be baseball season all over again?
What? Is that what you're hoping for?
Well, I mean, if you think about the accomplishment that the baseball team had, I mean, it was significant. You know, the winning a major division championship coming out of nowhere, really.
Yeah.
We're running through the Big Eight, and that we know that North has athletes. We know they have great skill players. We saw that last week against Colton. A lot of us thought, a lot of guys here thought Alemany was going to be too powerful, too strong, but North has got great speed, and they're going to, if they can hold on to win this is a huge one, and especially if Mater Dei beats Centennial. What does that mean?
Well, two things to take away from this. First of all, I shouldn't listen to Eric Paul Johnson when he talked me out of North, told me that Alemany was so good that I was concerned about that. I should have stuck with my first thought. And secondly, it's just a credit to Coach Predis and the program that he ran at North before going to RCC and be the offensive coordinator, and since coming back. He's obviously a very high-level high school coach, and he's got these kids playing at a really high level right now.
He certainly does. I mean, I really enjoyed watching them play against Colton last week, and that was very impressive what they did against them.
Let's go to highlights.
All right, going to have the highlights now. Let's get those up, and let's take a look at those highlights. So here we go. Take down that lower third. All right, so this is a flea flicker, Justin Georgie to Denzel Foster, 33-yard pass to Garrett Biggers. And Biggers doing some extra work there. All right, now Georgie, the quarterback, 44-yard pass to number 3, Aaron Peck. And look at that. He just separates from the defensive back to get in there. All right, Georgie on a little 1-yard touchdown run. This is in the first quarter.
Actually did a great job of shielding the defender on that catch.
Yeah. All right, Alemany now. Devin Dunn, a 21-yard pass to Stephen Mitchell over the middle. He stopped right there. And now Dunn looking for more. 40-yard pass, gets hit. And the receiver is there. That's Jericho Richardson. This led to a 2-yard TD run by number 16, Cameron Washington. Later, Dunn is intercepted here out of their end zone by Leon Smith. 39-yard return, brought it out to the 3-yard line. And look at North's speed. Opportunistic. They can make things happen. They are a very dangerous team. All right, Foster now on the 2-yard touchdown run. Alemany again. They're going to, early on, I mean, they were the team here. Dunn, a 27-yard pass to Jeff Farrar, puts it down about the 2-yard line. Now here's Cameron Washington. 4-yard touchdown run, 2-point conversion, good. Game was tied at 14-14. Those are our clips that we have right now before Adam had to come back. Actually, I think his batteries are dying or something like that. So, North.
He did run out of batteries.
It is my
fault. So I'll take credit for that. He took some great highlights from the time he was there.
Yeah, absolutely. Great stuff there. We'll try to get an extended package of some of those highlights for us here. So if you have thoughts on that, we'll get some thoughts to you guys and share those thoughts with us. I see the chat room now starting to get some movement here. 21-20 I see right now. Corona Centennial leading Mater Dei. That's according to the chat room midway through the fourth quarter. Let's go to Jeff Perenni.
Temecula Valley rallies to defeat Lakeside,
wow.
21-17. The Golden Bears' winning drive was 86 yards, aided by a face mask penalty. They scored within the final minute and then broke up a couple of Hail Marys to hang on. Lakeside seemed in control in that game.
What's up with Lakeside not being able to finish games? That's the second time that's happened to them this season. They had San Jacinto on the ropes, 21-0, and then they faltered in the second half, and they faltered to Temecula Valley. So
program.
Lakeside falls to 0-3. They've been competitive though in every game, really, except maybe the Miller game. But I think they had some early on. They had some successes there. Just Jeff listening. The chat room is reporting that Centennial 21-20 fourth quarter.
Oh, took the lead. I hadn't heard that.
And that Murrieta Valley is leading 35-34 over Roosevelt.
Yeah, that's been a wild one there too. I just saw that they had taken the lead.
Chat room asking for a Patriot Valley View score and a Rubidoux Pacific score. We've not seen those yet. If you'd like to share those in the chat room, we'd love to have you get those into us. Get those to us because we'd like to know what those are as well. We do not have everybody at every game. Yes, Dave.
Well, actually, it's kind of interesting because you think about it. We're always waiting for that 1 week when everything's just going to break out and start going.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, this is the week I didn't really expect it to be this week, but obviously it is. We got.
Centennial took the lead on an 8-yard run from Hayden Gavitt.
So Hayden Gavitt doing some work.
Yeah, I guess he struggled in the first half, but is playing a lot better in the second half, according to Bruce Borkwin, who's covering the game for us.
Angel Ortiz down at the Miriam Mesa Takowitz game, 48-15. The game of the night has been Norco Etowanda. And or actually, I should say that's not the game of the night. There's been a lot of games of the night, really. But Norco Etowanda has been completely insane, right, Jeff?
Oh, yeah. That one's been back and forth. We've had a lot of them back and forth. Murrieta Valley is up 35-34, and it came on a 27-yard field goal with 3:25 left, and the kicker is Matthews. I don't know if I have his first name handy.
Okay, and is it still 16-0 Vista Murrieta?
Aaron Crone is not playing in that game for
over Roosevelt, right? Yeah, that's a big plus or a big minus for Roosevelt. A big plus for any of their opponents.
Here's EPJ.
All right.
Hey,
okay, here we go.
Happened?
So we're gonna have some more details here. I think Eric Paul Johnson was covering Alamany. North Winds, ladies and gentlemen. North Winds. They beat Alamany. It's a huge win for them. I don't know, Dave. What do you think? Show us those highlights again, Drexler.
I'm rather pained by it all.
Why are you pained by it?
Because I picked them, and in the process of picking them, I was talked out of it, and then in the process of being talked out of it, they actually pulled through. Well, here we go with the highlights again.
All right, you really can see here. I think how talented North is. They really move the ball, and this is only basically in the first half. Justin Georgie is really looking like a very good quarterback. Of course, it's kind of buffering there. And he's got weapons all over the field. This is Aaron Peck, one of their receivers. He can push it in. I just like the way this team plays. I mean, that's a gutty win. It's a gutty win over a very good program.
Win. I'll give them that. And it's they look at mid-season form. And it's week 3.
I like the concept. Here's what I like. The last 2 years we've been doing HS Game Time Live. The conversation has been centered basically around 4 programs: Norco, Vista Murrieta, Chaparral, and Centennial. Now we've got North to talk about because they're gonna be a factor in this division. I think. Wouldn't you agree?
Totally, and it's just I think you need to put again after that because North was in the conversation 4 or 5 years ago, and they went away for a while, and now they're back. I mean, obviously they have the right coach at the helm, and for a couple years they were struggling to get a coach to replace him.
Right.
So I mean, this obviously. Paredes is an outstanding coach based on the year and a half he's been with this program and how far he went.
Right. Yeah, it's been a tremendous addition to North's program. So let's go ahead and talk about a few other things. We're gonna get some more scores here in a minute, but we got some other things to chat about here real quick. Dave, can you bring up the rankings real quick and let's show the Inland Division how it stands. We showed that just a minute ago. We'll have some more scores for you. Centennial number 1, Vista Murrieta 2, Upland playing at Serrano. Rev wins tonight. Rancho Cucamonga very good as well. They beat Great Oak last week 35-0. Norco in a shootout with Etowanda. Charter Oak beat Roosevelt last week. Chino Hills beat Santiago. Roosevelt losing to Murrieta Valley tonight, and then Damien in the 10. Let's go to the Central Division right now, and this is an interesting one because Cajon absolutely dominated Kaiser, 52-7. Probably one of the big wins of the season so far.
Here's my little get right now. El Rancho Verde playing and winning handily. Are they the number 1 team in that division based on Cajon's performance thus far?
I would say that they are because you have to look at the body of work still, and they have 2 good wins. I mean, I think but I think Cajon's right there too. I mean, Cajon's a semifinalist from last year. Rancho Verde's a finalist. Rancho Verde, has an impressive, regular season work, but that's a very compelling division, I think. Hemet has beaten Indio 38-34, so Hemet gets his first win of the season, snapping a 7-game losing streak going back to last season. It's unbelievable, according to Dave Zing. Yeah, shocker that's because you picked Indio in the contest. You were one of the 14% that didn't pick Hemet.
You know what? Whatever, dude.
Arlington was beating Poly.
Riverside Poly defeated Arlington 15-14.
15-14 the final score. Riverside Poly with the big win over Arlington. That's a tight one. 2 tough ones in a row for Poly. Showing a little grit there. Jeff worked it. Nice job.
I guess that's what running game.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Carter. We mentioned them. They've had a good start to the season. Chino, Colony, Valley View. We're looking for Valley View's score. Rialto and La Quinta. Rialto off to a 2-0 start. La Quinta will be 0-3. They're playing Mission Viejo tonight. All right, Eastern Division, Dave. This is one that I like a lot. I like this division a lot. You got Elsinore ranked number 1. You got Heritage there. They play Rancho Verde next week. Kaiser will fall deep because of their beating they took tonight. Serrano's playing Upland. If Serrano beats Upland, that's a huge win, and Serrano's always good. Summit, I think they're better than 5. Citrus Hill, they made a statement tonight. Temescal Canyon playing tonight. Apple Valley, Oak Hills, always solid, and Granite Hills. That's your 10. Small schools, East Valley division right now. Yep, got that one. Here it is. Sierra Canyon, Paraclete. 29 Palms plays at Banning next week. Rubidoux is 7. This one I understand. How is Yucca Valley ranked 9th? They whopped Rubidoux. They're 2-0. Rubidoux's 1-1. That's a strange one for me. All right, what's our next topic of conversation?
The first topic of conversation I think we need to go to is the fact that my wife just texted me and she asked me the score of the Riverside Poly game.
Why does she care?
Well, she's starting.
She's a Rubidoux fan.
She's not. Okay, wait a minute. She's not really a fan of.
Right.
She doesn't follow sports generally, but there are people that go to Arlington and people that go to King, and she hears all these when we go to social functions, making fun of Poly and Poly's football program and how Poly is, the rich kids who aren't any good.
Right.
And she's kind of sick of hearing that.
Right.
And so I think she's become a Poly fan because they won. And she asked me. First of all, she texted me to ask me if they won, and then when they did win, she said "Yay" with exclamation points, which that's pretty hard to do for a woman who doesn't even watch football.
I hear you. All right, let's look at the contest thing real quick. That's the next one we're going to get to.
Sure, let's do that.
Okay, here's the contest. This is one I'm pleased with. You can go on and play our contest. You pick them. It's free to play. These were last week's winners. Pete Chechonsky, the good doctor from Murrieta, 22-3 last year, beating Jeff Perenni, who's a part of our staff here. Tom Cinderelli of Highland was 3rd. Scott Shum of Moreno Valley, 21-4. I redeemed myself last week after my horrific opening week performance. But let me show you the ones that last week that killed people. This is the one that killed people last week. These were the fan killers. Last week, 5 games where the fans really went heavy. Aquinas, Vista del Lago, Norte Vista, Roosevelt, and Centennial. Those are all overwhelming picks. I think Dave Zink made all of those picks. I picked Aquinas too. I went against our theory, Dave, that if you can't pick against 29 Palms or Yucca Valley on the road.
I really don't appreciate the fact that you tend to point me out when I don't make the right move, but when I do, you never point me out.
All right, let's look at we have some contests, this week's contest, some interesting ones here. That didn't turn out as well as I'd like it to, but this is how the fans picking week 2. Really, there's no iffy games. Last week there was a lot of push games. This week there's one game that fans picked 100%. They ended up being right on that one. 90% games there was 12 games. 80% games there was 5 games. 70% this is where fans are picking in that way. 5 games there. 60% 1 game. Here's the breakdown real quick. Let's go. So Lakeside Temecula Valley. Temecula Valley wins that one. So everyone wins that one. The 90% game. Sorry, Heritage is beating Beaumont. Los Sierra was beating King. Miller was playing at Arroyo Valley, so we'll see about that one. Palm Springs was ripping Moreno Valley. Rev beat San G. Considering that Rubidoux and Pacific's got a kind of a 20-game losing streak. I bet Rubidoux would be a strong one in that one. Palm Desert Head was up 49-0 at some point. San Jacinto playing a Cathedral City team that has a 20-game losing streak. Vista Murrieta was ahead of Santiago. We don't know the Upland Serrano score. And Summit was playing host to Fontana. 80% games, Arlington and Poly. Well, a lot of us went with Arlington. Poly is the winner. Citrus Hill, Great Oak. Citrus Hill has crushed Great Oak. Redlands at Los Osos. I'm sort of surprised by that. I'm amazed how many of the fans just kind of went away from Redlands after last week's loss to Summit. West Valley, Paloma, that one appears to be safe. And Hemet, which Dave Zink picked Indio. Go Rajas. All right, Alamany at North. 70% picked Alamany, including Dave Zink. So I picked
North.
Did you?
No, I picked Alamany.
That's like me last week.
Started with North. Look, let's not get into this. I'm just going to get frustrated and walk off the show.
I picked Centennial. I picked
Bonaventure
St. Bonaventure last week, and that was an accident. Centennial at Mater Dei. Centennial leading that game. Norco at Awanda. Norco leading that game. Cajon, again, 70% picked that one. And Carter at
Not
Silverado.
Dave.
Not Dave, right. You picked Kaiser. And then the only game that was close was Paris at Canyon Springs. So there you go. There's the contest for you. Go ahead and sign up for free on hsgametime.pe.com. It's on the left-hand side of your page. Just click on it and enjoy. All right. What do we got next? We'll take a break. We'll be right back with more scores on HS Game Time Live. That's break number 2, by the way, in the playlist, Dave. There you go. Hope you guys have a great night. Here we'll be here until midnight. Also later tonight to join Will Holden and Chris Erkley for late night HS Game Time Live late night from 12. We'll see you in a bit.
Enjoy watching HS Game Time Live on Friday nights? If you do, then you'll love HSGT's Roundup. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night, myself and Chris Erkley will bring you all the high school sports action from volleyball to boys water polo, even girls tennis. You name it, we'll have it every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night at hsgametime.pe.com.
So, what's it gonna be? We could ride bikes, skating, movies, zoo, whatever you guys want to do.
Can we just do this?
Yeah. We could just do this.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
How long have you been using that style, John?
Since 2000.
It looks like it's been like 1940. I mean, how did you come up with that? It's two-sided, right?
It is.
And it's just so
Worked well for
team
me.
1 is on one side, and you can flip it over and do.
Just flip it over.
Team 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can use it on the sideline, in the press box, wherever you want.
And do you feel comfortable with this? Do you ever make any mistakes or?
Oh yeah, mistakes are made occasionally, but
Right.
yeah, I feel very comfortable.
So usually though, you like to be. This is for sideline duty.
It can go either way. I prefer the press box because I can blog from up there.
So this particular thing, this is gonna be in the press box. Would you have this in the press box too?
I would have it in the press box.
Wow.
And that way, if any of my colleagues or foes get out of hand, I can just kind of whap them too.
Even better. Well, that's some more wise and sage advice from the prep dog here at HS Game Time.
We cover the issues you care about. Here at the Press Enterprise and PE.com, local news matters whether you live along Route 66 or on Main Street. We provide regional analysis and in-depth investigation of issues like education, transportation, the environment, and much more. Important matters are covered here. That is how we keep you connected to your community. The Press Enterprise and PE.com. For home delivery, call 1-800-794-NEWS.
Nice. No.
Oops. Yeah, sure.
Let's go.
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy.
Works every time.
Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov.
The interviews, the commentary, that's kind of the popping off, having fun. I think sometimes with a game of football, we put so much pressure and realize it's just high school football and it's a game and we're supposed to have fun. And I think HSGT kind of makes it fun.
Did he just diss you?
He just dissed us, yeah.
I cannot believe that.
We are your breaking news leader. News happens. Stay up to date with expanded coverage in the Press Enterprise delivered to your home. Follow the story throughout the day on PE.com. Receive news updates in your inbox or on your mobile device. That is how we keep you connected to your community. The Press Enterprise and PE.com. For home delivery, call 1-800-794-NEWS.
And that was the Vista Murrieta High cheerleaders doing a little promo for us. Nice of them to do that for us. Great program down there in Murrieta. Almost a Temecula there, Dave. And they win big tonight. They win. They take care of Santiago. I think that final score was 25-0, if I remember correctly. I just written down. Let me go through some of the scores that we have here. Some of them I think we're going to have to correct because I don't think Summit beat Fontana beat Summit 42-0. That's a score that we have on the score list, but I don't think that's right. All right, so North 36.
Sorry, say that again. What was it?
They said 42-0 Fontana over Summit. That cannot be right. North beating Alamany 36-35. Heritage over Beaumont 34-9. The final score there. Desert Mirage over Banning 30-6. Fontana and Summit. I believe this is Summit 42. Fontana 0. Citrus Hill beating Great Oak 49-14. Remember Centennial over leading Mater Dei now late 21-20. Summit 42-0 win over Fontana, so big win there. Hemet getting its first win in 7 games. They win 38-34. Rupa Hills on the road up at Urmo 37-21. Cajon absolutely dismantling Kaiser. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that in the chat room. How good is this Cajon team, do you think? 52-7 win over Kaiser. Wherever it is, Vista Murrieta beating Santiago 25-0, our number 2 ranked team. Coley Candell and company taking care of. That's a great win. They shut out Mike Dar, the leading passer in the inland area. A huge win for Vista Murrieta. They keep getting better and better. And I guess Etowanda is a really good team that just can't seem to win games right now. So they've both put Vista Murrieta and Etowanda and Norco to the test here. Merida Mesa is probably one of the more improved teams in the area. They crushed Tahquitz 48-6. Remember, Tahquitz gave Temescal Canyon all sorts of problems last week. We don't have a score yet on Redlands and Rancho Cucamonga, or Los Osos, I should say. Rev has shut out San G 35-0 up at San G. Rubidoux has shut out Pacific 35-0. Good win for the Falcons. Paloma Valley has absolutely annihilated West Valley 58-21. I'm looking forward to seeing some of the numbers out of that game. 35-34, Murrieta Valley beating Roosevelt. So the Big 8 Southwestern League matchups here going in the favor of the Southwestern League here early on. Share those thoughts with us as well. Temecula Valley rallies from a 10-0 deficit and beats Lakeside 21-17. The second straight week that Lakeside has fallen late in the game. They cannot seal the deal against Temecula Valley. Citrus Valley wins 40-6 over Shadow Hills down in Indio. And those are just some of the scores that we have. By the way, Palm Desert has beaten San Bernardino, I believe, 61-12. All right, folks, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to HS Game Time Live. I'm Louis Amistoy on camera number 4, Dave Zink. Pep Fernandez will be back here in a minute with the exciting highlights from that's the top of Dave's head, by the way. If you'd like to become one of our fans, you can follow us at Facebook by just going to HS Game Time Live in the search. We got 250 fans. We'll have some stuff there to show you through the night. Hey, real quick, I want to remind you, Dave, can you show me the promo for the kids show at midnight? Let me show you guys this one. Look at these two guys. There it is. Take the lower third down. All right, so late night, midnight to 1 a.m. with Chris Erickley and Will C. Holden. And those guys are hard working. They will be here from midnight to 1 a.m. We'll have a lot to talk about here. Well, the phone lines open after the 10 o'clock hour, and we'll take your calls. We'll have some interviews here, and we'll have more highlights for you. Let me show you. Go back to the list of the games we'll have on video and on demand. I want to show that to everybody. It's the first one on the list, Dave. No, on the DDR2.
I'm in DDR2. I just got rid of it to put that.
Oh.
Let me have a second.
Okay. All right. So that's in the old playlist. Sorry about that, Dave. All right. Let me see if there's anything in the chat room. You guys are talking to us and getting that going. It's good to have that back tonight. Let me see here. Rubidoux, yes, Rubidoux did win. San Bernardino, I believe, has lost to Palm Desert. I believe they lost 61-12. All right. For those of you who are curious, we have the video player on the page. There are videos being put into that. Alamany and North is already in there. The game last night from Ramona and Norte Vista, which was an exciting one. Dave, take that back out there. Thanks. All right. So Santiago Vista Murrieta, Kaiser at Cajon, Redlands East Valley at San G, Heritage of Beaumont, Citrus Hill at Great Oak, Tahockwas at Murrieta Mesa, Alamany at North, and Arlington versus Riverside Poly. Those are the games you'll have on video that are coming from tonight. We did not have the Centennial game. We apologize for that, but kept everybody close to home for the big matchups between everybody. So we'll start seeing video here shortly. We should have some video from the Great Oak game. Let me check that one and see if that one's in. Dave, what game stands out in your mind so far?
Actually, several. That North game really stands out in my mind, but there are several others that Poly coming back actually late, which is something that Poly hasn't done in recent years. Come back to beat Arlington, which has been a real key nemesis of theirs. They haven't been able to beat them in a couple years. So that one, and then you go down south. Vista Marietta, the way they handled Etiwanda, the way they played against Norco. I mean, there's just a lot to talk about tonight. And you know what? This is what's best. The best part of high school football is that, as the season wears on, all of a sudden it's just, it's amazing to see some of these great things. But still, North Alamany, that's probably got to be the most impressive thing of the night.
Yeah, I really think that's the one that's going to stand out. That's what we're going to talk about for quite a while because that one just is it's not really a shocker, I would say, but I think it kind of validates our belief about how good North is. Carter has beaten Silverado 14-2. I think Carter is now 2-0 on the season, and Silverado, I believe, is 0-3. Vista Marietta 25-0. They held Vista Marietta to under 175 yards of offense, according to Will Holden, who was at the game.
Lou, I missed one.
Yeah.
Cajon, the way that they handled Kaiser. Kaiser's been, for a decade, has just been dominant in the Sunkist, dominant in their division, and Cajon absolutely manhandled them. I mean, they scored 52 points, but it might as well have been 100 because any other team that doesn't have a defense like Kaiser has, Cajon's going to go 80 on you.
All right. Note from Will Holden, either quarterback Matt Darr or left tackle Isaiah Fulasa played down in the second half. Darr had a mild concussion, never a good thing for any player. Never like to hear that. And Fulasa had a mild ankle sprain. So Santiago, that win not as. I mean, it's a good win for Vista Marietta, but now you see a little bit maybe Santiago undermanned.
Yeah, but going back to Darr's concussion, they got the baseline test that they do now, and it's a good thing, I think. I mean, it's bad to see, it's sad to see that a kid can't finish out a game, but now that they see what the long-term results of concussions and multiple concussions are, it's a really good thing, and hopefully that baseline test was the reason that they did yank him from the game because they knew where he's at and found out where he was at tonight.
Right. All right, I got to deal with one little quick thing, Dave. What's Jeff got going on?
I don't know.
Is Jeff over there?
Jeff, what do you got going on?
Centennial wins 28-20, rallied from a 20-7.
Good night, Pac-5.
Gavitt with 2 second-half touchdown runs of 8 and 9 yards.
28-20.
Shame on Lewis for actually saying Centennial would start out 0-2. Shame on Lewis.
You're such a
I think I picked the Huskies, by the way.
I think we all picked the Huskies.
I picked the Huskies.
And who was at the top of the leaderboard last we looked?
Yes, Jeff Prenny was top of the staff leaderboard. Impressive.
Wow, was that braggadocious or what?
Hey, we all know it's not going to last long. I'm just taking advantage of this rare opportunity.
Jeff with the impressive.
That is our intrepid,
Dr. Pete was the big winner
Prep
last week.
Sports editor Jeff Parenti just popping off about how well he's doing in the pool, in the pool.
All right. It's always fun here. What else you got? Okay, I'm looking. I'm trying to get these Citrus Hill highlights up.
You want me to go? You want me to go back to what I know? What I know. Well, why don't we do this? Let me queue up some highlights here real quick. Hey, let's get those highlights from the North game back up. So I'm sure people would love to see those. So as we told you earlier, North defeated Alamany, a highly ranked team in is that the state, correct, Lewis?
7th in the state,
7th
4th in the Pac-5.
And so we're going to run some highlights here real quick and show you where we're at. So why don't we go to it? Go.
Trying to find my notes from this game earlier. Oh, here it is. This is the first quarter. This is Justin Georgie to Denzel Foster, a 33-yard pass to Garrett Biggers on the it was on the flea flicker, we should say. And then Georgie, a 44-yard pass to Aaron Peck Number 3, the big receiver there, right with the guy on him, making the play right down to the 1 yard line. They mark it down. Georgie then would punch it in from 1 yard out to give North a 7-0 lead here early on. Let's go to the second quarter now, and we will see Alemany with Devin Dunn, the quarterback. 21-yard pass to Stephen Mitchell. There is the pass right down the middle, and he is stopped. All right, now Dunn. 40-yard pass to Jericho Richardson. This would set up a 2-yard touchdown run by Cameron Washington, and North would hold on to a 7-6 lead. North now. Dunn intercepted by Leon Smith. Here's the interception. Underthrown, and Smith
Lewis.
is there. 39-yard return brought out to the 3-yard line. Yes, Dave.
That was a tremendous catch. Did you see that? He caught it about a foot off the ground.
Amazing.
One-handed.
Foster then punched in for a 2-yard run, and North was leading 14-6. All right, now Dunn, a 27-yard pass to Jeff Farrar. Right down there, right at the 2-yard line or 3-yard line before he falls down. That would give Cameron Washington a 4-yard touchdown run. The 2-point conversion was good. The game was tied. North win the game, though. We have those highlights up on hsgametime.pe.com. Please enjoy those here.
We're definitely rocking tonight, Lewis.
We have Citrus Hill video coming. It is.
We're checking in on what video we've gotten the player to show you. So if you just give a minute, we're going to look at it real quick, and I'll be right back.
I got it up. I got it up. It's just not processing. Do me a favor and text Nels and say that it's not come through yet to Brightcove. We'll have it up.
Okay.
In a moment. We'll have more video.
Man the fort. I'll get you done.
We'll have more video here in a quick minute. All right, let me go back to some of these scores. So we talked about Vista Murrieta and Corona. Santiago, 25-0 win, but Santiago, playing with 2 of their best players, were out because of injuries. So we'll talk about that game with Will Holden later on tonight, but Vista Murrieta winning 25-0. Valley View has beaten Patriot 21-6. Abraham Nuno, the quarterback, he bounced back from a tough game, but he had 14 of 16 passing with 2 touchdowns as the Eagles shut down the Warriors. Got a great win as Valley View moves to 3-0. Michael Harrison rushed for 180 yards. Will Evans added 70 yards for the Eagles. Hemet, big win for the Bulldogs, 38-34. The final score with 10:40 left. Hemet finished the game with the win. Hemet had regained the lead. It was back and forth all night long. Hemet had a 46-yard scoring pass from Alex Denbaugh, the new quarterback, to Zach Holbert, and a 37-yard field goal from Matt Parker. But Hemet has been plagued by turnovers again, but they get the win here for the final score. Riverside Poly has moves to 2-0 with a win over Arlington 15-14. The Lions had the lead there, and they couldn't close out Poly. So a big win for the Poly Bears.
Poly scrapped for that, Lewis.
Yeah, they did. They really did.
I think Lions had a pretty good game. I think Poly ended up getting a safety, which got them back close to, I think it was 14-9, and then come back with a touchdown to go ahead. So, I don't know if it was so much Arlington not being able to handle it. I think Poly just kind of rushing at the end.
Summit beats Fontana 42-0. Jamal Williams ran for 3 touchdowns and caught a pass as the Skyhawks easily defeated their Fontana Unified rivals, Fontana. Temecula Valley wins 21-17 over visiting Lakeside, and they had a rally in this game. This is the second time that Lakeside's had an opponent down in the first half. Last week they had San Jacinto down. This week they had Temecula Valley down. But the Golden Bears went 86 yards in the final 6 minutes to win the game, and the winning drive was aided by a face mask penalty that converted on a 3rd and 1. Elsinore and Diamond Ranch were tied 20-20 and through the fourth quarter. Elsinore was up 7-5 in the third quarter. That'd be an interesting game if they lost that one. Because Elsinore is unbeaten, and while Diamond Ranch is 0-2, that would be interesting to see if Elsinore would lose that one. Paloma Valley absolutely annihilates West Valley, 58-21. West Valley not getting it done. They're now 0-3 on the season. Rev beats San G 35-0. I had 42-15, I think, at one point, where 48-15 was, I think, Tahquitz and Murrieta Mesa. Murrieta Mesa taking care of things for Tahquitz. A couple of nice plays by Chase Chambers, the quarterback. He had 3 touchdown passes and ran one in from 1 yard out. Rubidoux goes over to San Bernardino, takes care of Pacific 35-0. Rubidoux maintained an early lead and beat Pacific 35-0. And Cajon. What can you say about Cajon, Dave? 52-7.
Like I said earlier, pretty impressive against a team like Kaiser. That's something that doesn't get done very often. I'd like to see the last time Kaiser gave up 52 points.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to bring Eric Paul Johnson and talk about that particular one here. All right, some other things we want to talk about. We've got Mountain Valley. You got the Mountain Valley thing? There we go. Show me the Mountain Valley thing, Dave. All right, so get into the lower third too. On the road, Road Warriors this week. The Mountain Valley League. They traveled far and wide. They played. Banning was at Desert Mirage where they lost down in Thermal. That was a 47.9 mile one-way trip. Citrus Valley at Indio Shadow Hills where Citrus Valley won. 64.8 miles. Harupa Hills out of Fontana traveled all the way to Yermo. Probably stopped at the Barstow Del Taco, and they had an 89.9 one-way trip there. Now the kings of the road trips this week, the mighty Notre Dame Titans. I'm surprised Dave Bradford hasn't tried to call us yet, but they were at Blythe Palo Verde. That's got to be a rare time that they've played a team this far in Riverside County for a long time. Usually they play the teams in the Coachella Valley, but 237 miles one way from Riverside to Palo Verde Valley. Rubidoux playing at Pacific at pedestrian 18.6 miles. Harupa Valley was playing at Rim of the World, but Rim of the World plays at Bishop next week. So the Mountain Valley League, the Road Warriors this week. So there you go. Little stat for you on the night. Also call up the coaches one too, which I think might be in the first playlist that we have there, because we had a milestone win last week with Bill Powell from San Jacinto, looking for his 101st win of the season or of his career. And this really is a pretty amazing group of coaches if you look at their history. And just give me the thumbs up when we talk about it. So this is an elite group, really. Riverside County's 100 win clubs, and this is basically coaches who have been at one school their entire career in one stint at one school. And so Bill Powell, San Jacinto, he's been there since 1998. Quite frankly, I know Bill Powell for probably almost 20 years, and I didn't think he'd stay at San Jacinto that long, but he's been there now since 1998. This is his 13th year, 14th season now at the Tigers. He got his 100th win last week against Lakeside in come-from-behind fashion. But let's look at the rest of this group. Here you go. Steve Fabian, Palm Springs, 1999 to present. We have him with 106 wins. Chris Erickley is trying to demote him to like 100 wins, typical of Chris. Jack Fogarty, Canyon Springs, 1987 to 2003. I got cut off there. To 2000 at Canyon Springs. He won championships there in 1988 and 1994. And we'll have a couple of mentions about that one here. Wayne Cochran of Rubidoux, 113 wins from 1986 to 2000. And Notre Dame. Thank you for the ad there. He succeeded Brewhard, right, at Rubidoux?
He did after 1 year at Notre Dame. He left and went to Rubidoux, and he coached too. Sammy Knight.
Sammy Knight, right. Our next one is Pat Blackburn, who got a big win tonight. Still down at win number 117 for Pat Blackburn out of Palm Desert from 1994 to today. Continue.
I was remiss in not saying Jeff Huerta too. Poly coach Jeff Huerta played for Fogarty or for who am I thinking of?
42-36, finally a final. All right, Dan Armstrong also down in the Desert La Quinta. Three of the desert programs with longtime coaches. 126 wins for Dan Armstrong. Armstrong won a CIF championship in 2001. I believe he beat Kaiser that year for the title, his one title. There's Matt Logan with 147 wins from 1997 to now. Yeah, very impressive career. One of the greats all time, no doubt, in any area, but not just Riverside County. And Dave DeWoody, an 8-man Riverside Christian, 1991 to 2010, 151 wins, 3 CIF championships, the last one coming in 2003, 1996 and 2002 with the other titles. Number 3 on the list, Gary Harvey of Beaumont. I think the farthest he ever went was CIF semifinals. A great coach, a good man, and I've always enjoyed Gary Harvey. Of course, going to Banning, you always kind of learn to love him, to hate him a little bit, but he's a good guy. And it was Beaumont actually went through a tough time trying to replace him for a long time. They're not kind of back on the path. Another great coach and a good man, Bud Kane, 165 wins all time at Temecula Valley from 1986 to 2007. He won CIF championships in 1990 and 1991. And then the number 1, no surprise here, Gary Campbell.
He started, obviously, the program at Temecula Valley.
Yes, you are correct. He started the program there. Gary Campbell didn't start the program at Norco. But I think he was the second coach that was there, and he pretty much left his mark on there in 36 years of coaching the Norco Cougars. He won CIF championships in 1992, 1993, 1998, and went to the finals a bunch of the times and had produced a lot of great players. And, of course, his mark on this county is profound in many ways. A couple interesting notes. Campbell beat Kane in the 1993 CIF Division 5 championship game 42-0. And then Jack Fogarty beat Campbell in 1994 48-0 for the Division 4 championship. So kind of interesting note there. Of all those coaches, the only ones that didn't win championships we mentioned were Harvey, Blackburn, Cochran, Ken Batdorf. I don't think we had Ken Batdorf on there. I'm sorry. I think we left Ken Batdorf off that. He was 112. So whatever I did, it was my mistake.
Way to go, Lewis.
I'm sorry. But Ken Batdorf, 112. And then you've got, and Bill Powell has not won a CIF championship yet, but he's been to the finals twice. All right, take a quick break. We'll be right back here on HS Game Time Live. We'll do break number 1.
We are your breaking news leader. News happens. Stay up to date with expanded coverage in the Press Enterprise delivered to your home. Follow the story throughout the day on PE.com. Receive news updates in your inbox or on your mobile device. That is how we keep you connected to your community. The Press Enterprise and PE.com. For home delivery, call 1-800-794-NEWS.
All right, guys, we got to be smarter about what we bite on, okay? I want everyone to go outside. We're going to run Red Rover on 3.
What about you, Tony?
I'm going to run around in circles, flatten my arms, and make engine noises like this.
When it comes to playing, we kids are the pros.
We're eating right, too.
We fuel up
To play 60!
Your school doesn't have a program? Be a leader. Start one.
Click today and join the movement.
Do you enjoy watching HS Game Time live on Friday nights? If you do, then you'll love HSGT's Roundup. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night, myself and Chris Ercole will bring you all the high school sports action, from volleyball to boys water polo, even girls tennis. You name it, we'll have it every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night at hsgametime.pe.com.
What are your thoughts on Amistad and Zinc hosting that thing?
I think they're great. I love how they play off of each other and how they have a good time. So, but it kind of reminds me of the Channel 5 morning news. You know how they, at least a couple of years ago, they used to kind of screw around in there and have some fun. It just makes it fun to watch. You're lighthearted, and then plus you're getting the information you need.
We cover the issues you care about. Here at the Press Enterprise and PE.com, local news matters whether you live along Route 66 or on Main Street. We provide regional analysis and in-depth investigation of issues like education, transportation, the environment, and much more. Important matters are covered here. That is how we keep you connected to your community. The Press Enterprise and PE.com. For home delivery, call 1-800-794-NEWS.
All right, we're back. We got some footage to show you now of the it's Citrus Hill and Great Oak. And go ahead, and that's, I think, camera 5. All right, so here we go. This is Javian Payne up the middle for a 21-yard run. And now here's Payne for 13 more yards up the middle, just running people over. And then Payne again, another 15 yards runs. Maybe I was mistaken in saying that it wasn't all Payne tonight. And then Payne, 13 more to the 1. And he is going to dive in for the first touchdown of the night for Citrus Hill. They really made it look easy there early on. Citrus Hill quarterback Trevor Hodge is going to keep it now. Takes it up the middle for a 60-yard score. And as Nels Jensen points out, the route is on. I like this quarterback a lot, Dave. He is looking really good in my book. All right, then Hodge, and a touchdown pass now to KJ Young. Oh, my goodness, what a catch there by Mr. Young. That's a top 5 highlight. And here it again is Hodge and Young connecting again to make it 42-7. and the Hawks will go to 3-0 as Nels' light low light camera. I can't take the light there. Very impressive night for Citrus Hill. Probably one of their best wins in a long time. Dave, wouldn't you think so? Would you agree with that one?
Yeah, and as Eric Zolmalt said before the season, they're going to come out and rely on a lot more players than Davian Payne, and it looks like these players are really stepping up in all areas of the game. I mean, their offense looks like it's running, mid-season, late-season form,
right.
And everybody's getting involved. It's not the Davian Payne show; it's Davian Payne and friends now.
Well, I mean, if you look back at that, where's Drexler at? Let me show us that one again. Show us that first. Can he does not know how to do it? Let's listen to the show. Okay, look at this. Okay, so we talked about Hodge, and how great he's been, but look at how much work Payne does here early on, just right up the middle. That's just punishing. He's just punishing people here. And again, another shot up the middle here as he just kind of wears down Great Oak. All right, very impressive. Down to the one, and he's just going to take it in there. So, I mean, Payne really, he might be the best back in the area, but he's got a great supporting cast as well. So, it's going to be very interesting to see Citrus Hill throughout the season. I don't know, fans, what do you guys think of them? We'll talk about them here. A reminder that Norte Vista won last night 22-14 over Ramona, a big game there. A very slow starting game. That game started at 3-0, and then Norte Vista sort of held on as Ramona charged back at them. Okay, Dave, come back to you here, and let's talk about some of the games that we've kind of been mulling over. After the last break, is there anything that really stands out so far? Kind of contemplating these things.
Are you talking to me, Lewis?
I am talking to you, Dave.
Sorry.
Who else am I talking to?
I'm sorry. I was doing
Drexler?
like 5 things when you were talking to me. What was the question, Lewis?
Was there another game that stood out in your mind? I mean, we talked about North. We talked about Citrus Hill a little bit.
The list is getting long. They're coming by. They're kind of in a blur for me right now. We're talking game after game after game with these crazy results. I'm just going to say tonight was a good night for high school football.
42-36 Etiwanda. All right, let's get your thoughts on the craziest result of the night. Let's go through the rundown.
Are you saying that Norco lost?
Norco won.
Oh.
42-36 over Etiwanda.
Oh, I thought you said 42-36 Etiwanda.
If I did, I misspoke. I apologize. 42-36 the win for Norco. Summit crushes Fontana 42-0. Centennial wins over Mater Dei 28-20 on the road. Pac-5 goes 0-2 against the Inland, the Big 8, which I think... What did EPJ tell me? EPJ was telling me on the message boards on one of those sites that I don't have time to read, that they call the Big 8 the soft 8 or the little 8 or the mini 8 or something like that.
Well, that's in your face.
And
Big 5.
It is in your face because the Pac-5 went 0-2 tonight.
Pac-5, I called them
whatever
Big
they
5.
are. Right.
Sorry.
Citrus Hill 49-14. We talked about that one. We saw that footage there. Hemet gets a win over Indio 38-34. I believe Hooper Hills has beaten Silver Valley. Aquinas beats Mary Star of the Sea 21-14. So Notre Dame, I guess that's the San Bernardino Diocese 2, wherever Mary Star of the Sea is from. I guess it would be LA 0. Cajon, you've talked about that one all night too, Dave. 52-7. That's a crazy score.
It's just yes.
The look on your face.
I think the word you said is that you said last time was it's. Let me put this down so I can do it right. It's shocking. It's just shocking.
Well, I don't think I said it that way. I think I said.
Actually, you're like no.
This was you earlier. It was like you were like it's head scratching. It's head scratching.
Oh. No, I have horrible dandruff. Really, it had nothing to do with the score.
All right. Yes, okay. Bloomington has beaten Pomona 25-22, so Bloomington now 2-1 after losing their opening game to Chaffee. Harupa Valley goes up the road and beats Rim of the World 37-21. That's a good win for Harupa Valley. Citrus Valley on the road down in Indio against Shadow Hills 40-6, the win there. Temecula Valley 21-17, the win for the comeback win against them. Yucaipa is playing the mystery schedule right now, and I'm going to look at this schedule here for a second because they win 42-3 over Little Rock. I'm just going to call this up here real quick. Oh, I don't want that one. I want this one. Yucaipa has only allowed 3 points, Dave, in the last 3 games they played in. And let me look at this schedule for a second, because Yucaipa might be another mystery team for us, because they opened up with Oak Park. They beat them 52-0. I mean, that was kind of a step down in the division, because Oak Park, which always has been pretty good athletically, they win 52-0 over them. Then they beat Canyon Springs 43-0. Canyon Springs got its problems. And then they beat Little Rock tonight 42-3. So Yucaipa then they play Sanji next week at Sanji. Then they play at Beaumont on the 30th before they open up CBL play on October 14th. So they have a bye that first week of October. October 7th they're off. But then they go to Ike, Fontana, Redlands, Miller before they play Rev. They could be, 8-0 going in, or 7-0 going into the Redlands game. They could be possibly 9-0 going into the Rev game.
Well, this week I had said maybe we should go shoot Yucaipa, that they seem to be doing a lot of good things in their early games, and so they've taken a lot. It's the second year of that coach. I can't think of his name, but it's his second year, I believe, and they're really starting to pick up steam in Yucaipa.
Justin Price is his name.
Justin Price, and he's building a great program.
Right.
He's got some good kids behind him.
That's one that we're gonna have to keep an eye on. Those Mighty T-Birds, one of your favorite teams, Dave.
It is, and very hardworking kids.
Matt Shaman tells me that we'll have video shortly of the Redlands East Valley thrashing of Sanji.
Promises,
yes.
I had Pep just over here telling me we were going to have video too, but
they're teasing us the whole night.
These videographers, they're
All right.
It's so dicey.
Yeah, it is
Drex
dicey.
is the only one we can trust to get video back to us when we need it.
Well, because we sent him down the street in the golf cart.
as he raises his hand.
Get those scores up, Drexler. Jeez.
He said, "Get those scores up, Drexler."
Is he listening to the show, or is he talking on the phone?
He stopped for a minute so he could celebrate.
Oh. Yes, that's Adam Drexler, who was a king.
Should I throw a flag? That was.
Is he wearing? Is that
excessive celebration? No, he's wearing a red and white shirt. He's propping up his Corona Panthers.
Or the Angels? Isn't he an Angels fan?
He is an Angel.
Yeah.
He's one of the.
He is an angel for us.
In the outfield.
That's right. I went to my first Angels game as a fan, thanks to you, Dave Zink.
And who'd you get to see?
From you. I saw the Yankees.
I mean, come on.
I thought it was a Yankee. I thought we were at Yankee Stadium. There's so many Yankee fans there.
Yeah,
it was insane.
It tends to be that way.
Right.
They come out of the woodwork.
Right. Yeah. It was a strange experience. So one that I'm soon to forget. I actually the last time I was there for a fan to see something at that stadium was probably 1979.
See, now you're exaggerating.
I'm not.
I guarantee you, between 79 and now, you've been there more than once.
No, I've been there many times as a member of the media.
Oh, so now you're like big time in us. Well, I've been there a lot of times as a member of the media.
Well, I've never sat in the stands and watched an Angels game.
It must have been nice to be with your family and a nice sunny day.
Thanks to Dave Zink. Thanks to Dave Zink, yes.
Thank you. Thank
you very much. There it is. All right, here comes Eric Paul Johnson. He's ready to talk. Careful with that soda, buddy. All right, so let's cue up the Alamany game again, and let's show this one. Eric's going to come on. Let's make sure everything's working for him, because
can't hear me over there.
Yeah. All right, there we are. All right, so Eric
what, do you
Paul.
think I'm an amateur?
You got it going on. Eric Paul Johnson now joining us here, and let's just say that I was referencing this earlier, and let's just say, oh, by the way, folks, Murrieta Valley beat Roosevelt, so not a totally great night for the Big Eight, but a pretty significant night for the Big Eight. So what we were talking about earlier was that, and we were mentioning this before you even got going, that if Alamany should fall to North, and if Centennial should beat Mater Dei, that those are kind of two big statement games. Now, you weren't as big on the Centennial game, but what does this win do for North?
Oh, it's absolutely huge. I would say it's their biggest victory in years, at least since winning the CIF titles, back-to-back titles, about 5 years ago. So, what was bigger is how they won it. Mm-hmm. They were down 35-21 going into the fourth quarter. And talking to Coach Paredes, he said last year's team, they go down by 14 that late, they fold, it's all over.
Right.
This team finds a way to fight back. Coach Paredes at first was convinced, I'm going to go for the tying kick. Let's go to overtime. His assistant coaches basically said, Coach, want to have some fun? Let's go for the win. And Justin Georgie scrambles in and finds a way to get inside that pylon and went and get it in there.
Now, last week you only got to see them kind of the footage of them dismantling, Colton, and Prep Dog was sort of like, well, let's kind of wait and see what happens with this. Give me your take on the athleticism that we saw on film in real time.
Yeah, if there are some better athletes than Justin Georgie and Aaron Peck and Marcus Baugh in this area, they're tough to find. I mean, you're talking about all three of these guys, monster two-sport stars. Justin Georgie was the starting center fielder on North's baseball team that won the CIF title. He's a third-year starting quarterback for North. Aaron Peck, their star basketball player, and also I would say without question the best receiver in the Inland Empire. Tonight, again, 7 catches, 143 yards. And Marcus Baugh, and Peck also had 2 sacks on defense. Marcus Baugh, the tight end, also a basketball star, had 2 sacks, including 1 key, 1 late. So, I mean, it is unbelievable, the athleticism. That's not mentioning Denzel Foster, who ran for over 100 yards and 3 touchdowns tonight. So,
the thing I'm amazed at Justin Georgie, we have his name right because you had it right last week and we had it wrong. But he just seems so calm. Making just one big throw. Of course, he's got weapons all over the field, though. Too.
Yeah, and what's amazing, he did not, talk to Coach Paredes. I think even Georgie would admit he did not have the best game tonight. I mean, he started off very slow, was making some passes weren't quite there. But that last drive, he just comes up big, completes all 3 passes, and I'm not sure if we have the play. He's scrambling, about to get sacked. He's a left-handed quarterback. He puts the ball in his right hand and flings it 10 yards for a first down to Marcus Baugh. So just kind of that example of that athleticism that he can, make a play like that. And he also had runs of 26 and 14 yards on that final drive. So 40, he accounted, I believe, for 60 of the 70-something yards in that final drive.
Unbelievable.
And then he gets the winning 2-point conversion. So, but I mean, like I said, it's big. This gives them so much confidence. Talking to Aaron Peck after the game, he even says, we feel we can win it all. This is a game that proves, we just took out a Pac-5 powerhouse, a team that was, a Pac-5 semifinals last year, was 12-0 up until that point that they lost. And barely losing to Servite, and they hung toe-to-toe, and they found a way to win in the end. And that was a team, probably saw some big plays from Stephen Mitchell over at Alamany, 2 83-yard touchdowns. But their defense comes up big in the end and finds a way to cover Mitchell and make sure not to get beat again. So definitely a huge win for North.
So North now gets to go on the road to play Kaiser, who's now reeling after a huge loss to Cajon, 52-7. Then they open up Big 8 play on the 30th against Corona on the road. Then they have on the road at Centennial. So, I mean, that's going to be one that everyone's going to be marking on their calendar. Obviously, you can't look past any of these teams. But this game suddenly takes on huge proportions. And I was talking to Dave about this earlier. The totality of this of our experience the last few years, the conversation's been around 4 teams, basically. Norco, Chaparral, Vista Murrieta, and Centennial, and all of a sudden, boom, here's...
Yeah, North is back. I mean, especially with this group, a bunch of seniors that have finally come together. They've grown, they've matured. And, talking to Dean Harrington over at Alamany, he basically says the difference is, you see Mark Paredes' influence back in that program. And he's, first year back, there were some struggles, but he definitely has a great and talented coaching staff over there. He's one of the best offensive minds in high school football, and, they were able to come up with some big plays, and, you got to sit there and say North is no longer, everyone said North was the big wild card, what to expect from them. Now we know what to expect from them. They are a legitimate power program right now.
All right, looking at the scores that we've had so far tonight, just real quick, which one, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen too many of them. I mean, I was kind of shocked maybe Rev didn't handle Sanji as big.
Slow. They started off slow.
Yeah, started off slow. They come back and win. Their defense looks legit. I mean, another shutout for them. So I think that's what's going to lead them out there. Some of the other scores out there, I'm surprised Centennial had to rally to beat Mater Dei. I mean, that's, to me, has got to be some warning signs for Centennial. They're definitely not going to be able. They're going to have to fight to win games. That's something that hasn't happened in a while. So, the Norco Etiwana game, kind of what I expected, kind of a shootout to the end. I thought Etiwana might be able to pull it out, but another big win for Norco. And they got another test next week against Upland, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, we haven't seen what Upland's been doing yet, so we'll figure that one out here in a little bit, because Upland playing at Serrano, and obviously the Cajon win.
That's big. I expected him to win. I didn't. This shows how. I don't know if it shows how strong Cajon is. This is going to be the off year for Kaiser. This is probably the year that streak, that league winning streak ends, and it could just be one of those rebuilding years. But Cajon is definitely a dangerous team and a team to look out for come playoff time. But that's definitely another big win for them, because a lot of people may have been, the Chaparral win, I think took some diminishing over after seeing how Chaparral started, and then last week's win. Over Eisenhower, not quite big, but you beat Kaiser. That's enough name recognition.
Yeah.
That's a huge win.
Of course, with playing Eisenhower, who's been kind of up and down for the last few years, who knows what they were. We have a film on that game, but who knows what Kim Batten, maybe save some guys, let other guys play.
Right.
This is going to be very interesting to see how Cajon develops. That Central Division is very, very fun to look at, because you got a lot of compelling teams in there. So we'll keep an eye on what that's going on.
And I think you kind of mentioned Central Division. The Inland Division is going to be interesting this year, because, like I said, Centennial is not going to run through teams. We have 3 or 4 teams out of the Big 8 that can make a run. You have the Southwestern League schools. Obviously, Rev is throwing its name in there, and then you have the Chino Hills, the Uplands, the Baseline League teams. All of those teams are in there. Yeah, this is probably going to be the most competitive wide open race, because even couple years ago, when it was Norco, Centennial, Vista, and Chaparral, it was pretty much those 4 schools only. And I think this year you have 8 to 10 teams that are definitely in the race here.
Etiwana pretty much showed that they can go toe to toe with anybody.
Yeah.
And not be successful necessarily, but they can go toe to toe with anybody.
Yeah, I think they can definitely throw the ball. And any teams that have trouble, stopping the pass, which Norco occasionally does. That's maybe the weak spot on their defense is in the secondary. That could happen. And North. As big of a win this was, there were some holes there. They allowed some big plays in the passing game. They have a tendency to, on today, maybe 2 or 3 times they could have had interceptions, just missed it. They allowed big plays to happen. So, but I think as that game went along, you saw them getting more disciplined and coming up, huge when they needed to.
Right. Great. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. We'll be right back with Pep Fernandez, and he'll have some highlights for you from Poly and Arlington. Poly wins that one 15-14, gutty win. I see Chris Erickley back now with Vista Murrieta Santiago footage. I didn't know it was possible that Chris could actually look sunburned when he was out at night. Is that night burn? Is that windswept night burn?
It's cold out there. I got wind chill.
Yeah, it was a little. It was. There's definitely a change in the air there. So we'll be back.
Do you enjoy watching HS Game Time live on Friday nights? If you do, then you'll love HSGT's Roundup. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night, myself and Chris Ercole will bring you all the high school sports action, from volleyball to boys water polo, even girls tennis. You name it, we'll have it every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night at hsgametime.pe.com.
I'll tell you the list in the thing.
Okay. All right, welcome back to your favorite show, HS Game Time Live. The highlights are pouring in right now. And I was at Pauley Arlington. I thought I had the game of the night. It seems like there's a lot cracking tonight, a lot of great games across the inland area, but we do have those Pauley Arlington highlights back in right now. So, Big Z, you want to crank those highlights up, and we'll get to Pauley Arlington. This game went all the way down to the finish. Here we go. The Lions fired up to take on the Bears at Ramona High School. First quarter, Stephen Ham flings the ball up, and there's Matt Peck on the other end. The long touchdown there for Riverside Poly. They go up 7-zip. And everyone has to have a ticket for the football game, even the Poly Bear. Yep, there it is, sir. I have a ticket. Let them in, please. Everyone needs a ticket. Later in the first quarter, I'm really stoked about this. Derek Stokes punches one in. That makes it 7-6, no extra point there. To the second quarter, Lions D, Ethan Poppins, Samson Kopavalu stuffing the run there for the Lions. Later in the second quarter, how about some more Arlington defense? Robbie Chavez, the sack there. 7-6 Poly, though, leading at the half. Let's move to the third. Did you know R. Kelly plays for Arlington? I believe I can fly. There he is, R. Kelly punching in the score, and he gives Arlington the 14-7 lead. Now we move to the fourth quarter. Arlington with the ball inside their own 5. It's a safety for Poly. Illegal forward pass, and that makes it a 14-9 game. Lions with the ball once again, and they turn it over deep in their own territory, trying to run out the clock, but they fumble, and Poly recovers, and Poly turns that into points. Ham to John Stewart with 44 seconds left in the game. That makes it 15-14, Poly on top. No extra point. Last chance for Arlington. Last drive of the game. And that pass is picked off by Matt Peck. Poly, as Zink calls him, gritty, gutty. The Bears of Poly knock off Arlington by final score of 15-14. So a great game out there between Poly and Arlington at Ramona High School. Moving on, we have Redlands East Valley taking on San Gorgonio today, and this game not as close as Arlington and Poly as we just saw early in the first quarter here. San G quarterback Monroe off-field. He's going to keep it himself, calls his own number, 27 yards there. First roll offense for either team in that one. Nice pickup there. Then later in the first quarter, off-field, he's going to take a loss here. Drive stall. San G, though, they would attempt a field goal. And the kicker's going to hook this one to the left. No score after one. To the second quarter, though, number 4, Jesse Riley. He's going to punch one in for the Wildcats. 7-zip Rev. Now later in the second quarter, off-field, back to pass. He's going to be picked off by Jamal Ellis. And the score remains 7-0 going into halftime. So a defensive struggle between Rev and San G at that point. To the third quarter, though, Rev, he's stopping San G on 4th and short here. Big stop there. San G going for it in their own territory. So Rev takes over. Same drive on the ensuing drive. Carlos Fabriz starts to get it going. Nice play there. And then on the same drive, 18-yard screen pass. The quarterback, Austin Decoux to Carlos Fabriz to make it 14-0. Redlands East Valley on top. He will not take no for an answer. Finally punches that one into the paint. More problems for San G. Off field, he's got the ball, takes the snap, and he will fumble it here. Right out of his hands. Rev's Trevor Douglas recovers for the Wildcats to give them the ball deep inside the red zone. So Rev back in business. That sets up a 15-yard touchdown run for Riley, his second touchdown of the game. And Rev extends their lead to 21-0 on San Gorgonio. San G finally starting to get something going for the first time in the second half. Jamie Snowton with a nice run there for San G to move the chains, get them into Rev territory. Very next play, same result. Snowton with another big pickup. Hard running there. Takes it to the 30, the 20, inside the 20, down to the 15-yard line. A few plays later, the quarterback off-field drops back to pass in the gun, and he will fumble the ball again. Rev strips it loose, and they would recover. Now we move to the fourth quarter, and the Wildcats would make them pay. Austin DeCoux, the quarterback, after recovering that fumble in the fourth quarter, he's going to run it in, calls his own number. DeCoux, get in there. That makes it 28-zip. Rev on top. That would make it 35-zip, your final score, as Rev goes on to win by final, as we mentioned, 35-zip. So we looked at Paulie Arlington. We looked at Rev and Sanji. Let's go through the rest of the scores from tonight in week number 2. A bunch of scores to come at you. A lot of surprising scores, a lot of close games. How about Centennial against Mater Dei? Centennial lost that game to St. Bonaventure, but they battled back on the road at Mater Dei. They win 28-20, your final score. Alemany, North, maybe the surprise of the night. A nice win for North, 36-35. North gets it done against Alemany. Riverside Poly, Arlington, we just saw the highlights. What a game. Poly did not give up, showing a lot of fight by those Bears. 15-14, your final score. Roosevelt, Murrieta Valley, another close game. 35-34, Murrieta Valley coming out on top against a good Roosevelt team. Vista Murrieta taking on Santiago, and Vista blanking the Sharks. 25-0, your final tonight. So that might explain why the Santiago Sharks got 0 points in the game. So Santiago, their quarterback, going out with a concussion, some key injuries to the Sharks. Moving on, Citrus Hill, Great Oak. Citrus Hill, they beat up on Great Oak, 42-7 your final. Tockwitz, Murrieta Mesa. Mesa taking care of Tockwitz, 48-15 your final that one. Tockwitz 0-3. Temecula Valley and Lakeside. Temecula Valley improves to 3-0. They edge Lakeside 21-17. They were down early, but Temecula Valley gets it done in the end. Paris, Canyon Springs, another battle for Middle Earth. Paris wins this one 23-22. Paris is 2-0. Canyon Springs still winless this season. Norte Vista, Ramona from Thursday night. I was at that game. It was 3-0 at halftime, and Norte Vista gets a couple touchdowns in the third and fourth, and they pull away to beat Ramona 22-14. Valley View and Patriot. It's Valley View topping Patriot 21-6. Valley View's 3-0. Nice start for them. Heritage and Beaumont. Heritage, they win 34-9. Heritage ranked number 2 in the Eastern Division right now. Indio and Hemet. Let's give it up for Hemet. Hemet gets it done. 38-34. They knock off Indio tonight, their first win of the season. Congrats.
Be nice, Pep.
West Valley taking on Paloma Valley. Paloma Valley beating up on West Valley. The Mustangs 58-21. West Valley still searching for their first win of the season. Diamond Ranch and Elsinore. Elsinore is a tough team to beat, especially at home. 27-20. Elsinore wins this one. They're 3-0. Fontana taking on Summit. Summit, like a well-oiled machine, beating up on Faux High. 42-0, your final in that one. Redlands, Los Osos, still looking for that score. We'll bring that to you as soon as we get that. Redlands, East Valley, San Gorgonio, Redlands, East Valley, looking very strong so far this season. They're the number 1 ranked team in the inland area, according to our experts here at the Press Enterprise. 35-0 over San G. Little Rock, Yucaipa, the Thunderbirds, 42-3. Look out, the T-Birds, 3-0 this season. They've outscored their opponents. Well, they haven't given up a single point this season. 95-0. Cajon taking on Kaiser. Wow, Cajon. I guess they're pretty good because Kaiser is not a bad team at all. Cajon, 52-7 your final score. Cajon is 3-0. And DeMonte Casey, he just drives me crazy. Carter, Silverado, 14-2. Silverado, I assume, gets a safety here, but Carter still wins 14-2. Rubidoux, Pacific. Rubidoux tosses the shutout 35-0 against Pacific. San Bernardino taking on Palm Desert. Apparently Palm Desert's pretty good. 61-12. They beat up on San Bernardino. Bloomington, Pomona. Tight battle here. Bloomington comes out on top. 25-22. Jurupa Valley, Rim of the World. Jurupa Valley goes up to the Rim of the World, and they conquer 37-21. Jurupa Valley's 2-0. Banning taking on Desert Mirage. Banning falls to 0-2 after losing tonight 30-6, your final score. Citrus Valley taking on Shadow Hills and Indio. Citrus Valley of Redlands goes on the road, and the Blackhawks are 3-0. They win 40-6, your final score. Mary Star Aquinas. Aquinas wins this one 21-14. And that's going to do it for our scores. We already showed you the Pauley Arlington highlights. Pauley coming away with a gutty win at the very end. Rev beating up on San G. Got a lot more highlights to get through. I think Big Z's going to cue us something
Pep, what's your shocker of the night?
Apparently, Alemany, one of the top teams in the state, coming into the inland area and north, taking care of business. That was exciting. Like I said, I was at the Arlington Pauley game, and I thought I had the game of the night. I was all excited trying to call into the HS Game Time studios thinking, hey, Zeke, put me on the air. I got to talk about this game. It's getting crazy. Come to find out, there's tons of crazy games across the inland area.
Well, and you know, it's really some shocking games in the sense that, like, Kaiser getting 52 points scored on them. You know, Alemany, North coming back on Alemany the way that they did. I mean, there's a lot of games out there that, you know, the results are kind of shocking. I mean, Etowanda playing tough in 3 straight games, and I think they've come away with 1 win. I think they're 1-2. So that, you know, Norco ends up winning that game. Centennial coming back against
that was a big win for the Huskies.
The Pac-5.
I think we dropped them all the way to what, number 5, I think?
4.
Number 4 in our top 10 here in the inland area. But got to remember, St. Bonaventure was a very good team going into it, so that it was only a 2-point loss. So, but they dropped out. Rev, our number 1 team, kind of looked pretty good tonight, 35-0 against San Gorgonio. We just showed you those highlights. We have some Cajon Kaiser highlights. Have we shown those yet?
Cajon Kaiser ready to go.
Cajon Kaiser ready to go. That DeMonte Casey, he drives me crazy in a good way. Here we go. Cajon taking on Kaiser, as we showed you. Cajon looking good in this one. Edwin Martinez here. He's going to throw the ball to Taylor Moore, who takes it in for the touchdown, making it 14-zip. Later, Kaiser quarterback Ryan Mata sends the ball to Desmond Ferreira. Nice long run here, and he's going to get in for a score. That makes it 14-7. It seems like we might actually have a ball game here. Close game, but that'd be Kaiser's only points of the game. Now we move to the second quarter. Nice long kickoff return by DeAndre Casey, DeMonte's brother, number 2, taking this one. Not going down. Where'd he go? Well, there he is. He's still on his feet. Or it could be number 7. I think that's number 7, Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard with the nice return. And then later, the nice long pass from Edwin Martinez. The lefty, the southpaw, airs it out. The deep ball works every time. DeAndre Casey there makes it 31-7. And then later, how about this? 90-yard run by Keontae Montgomery. Get it! 52-7, as we mentioned. Cajon all over Kaiser. The Cowboys saddle them.
The crowd goes crazy there. Look at the cameras.
Either we had another earthquake in the inland area, which I don't think happened, or the fans were just going bonkers out there for a good reason. Cajon's a very good football team. As we mentioned, Alemany North. We have those highlights on our website, hsgametime.pe.com. Citrus Hill, Great Oak. We even had some 8-man action, a collision, Clash of the Titans, if you love some 8-man football. Bloomington Christian taking care of that one. So those highlights are also on our website, as well as the Thursday night game, Ramona taking on Norte Vista. All right, so we're going to get to some more highlights. Which one? Where should we go next? Bloomington. I mean, who loves 8-man? This guy right here. I always love 8-man. They're always high scoring. They're a lot of fun. The shorter field. And Bloomington Christian ranked number 3 in the southern section for Division I teams, taking on the Public Safety Academy from San Bernardino. First quarter there, Bloomington Christian's Rayvon Williams. He comes up with the interception for the Ravens. Then later in the opening frame on the ensuing drive, Kyle Melton on the QB keeper, 60 yards for the score. They tack on the 2-point conversion, and Bloomington Christian goes up by a score of 8-zip. Later in the first quarter, Public Safety Academy with the ball. The Ravens' Theo Suddeth not having it. He's got the sack there. Then later in the first quarter, same drive, the Phoenix's Cruz Duke to Ben Diaz. The great one-handed catch. Check it out again. Tips it to himself and hauls it in. Great catch there for the Phoenix. Later in the first quarter, though, PSA's drive ends with Bloomington Christian's Jerome Bayless coming up with the interception. Also, the nice return after the INT. Now we move to the second quarter, and Bayless, well, the guy can do it all. The long run here for the Ravens, and that would set up that score there. Barry Cottle in for the touchdown, 14-zip. And then there he is, Bayless, rattling off another run, holding on to it. He's going to get this one into the end zone just inside the pylon. As we mentioned, Bloomington Christian blasting Public Safety Academy, 50. Now your final score this afternoon. And I shot that game. There was a player that went down towards the end of the first half for Public Safety Academy, so our thoughts are with him tonight as he was taken away on a stretcher.
So your thoughts on 8-man football there, Pep?
I've done a little 8-man in my day. I come to enjoy it. They're always high scoring. The field is shorter, so it's very rapid, almost kind of chaotic, but it's fun. So I enjoy it, especially when it makes for easy highlights.
A quick game because they move them along.
Look at the newsroom. There was Zink and Drexler and Jeff Perenni just breaking down all the scores and taking in all the stats and getting the paper ready for tomorrow, huh?
So what's your top game tonight, Pep? Which one's your favorite?
Well, if I have to play favorites, I'm going to pick the game that I was at because Pauly, they had that big touchdown in the first quarter. And then they pretty much came up empty all game long. And then the last minute of the game, they decided to crank things up again. They had the safety. Then Arlington had the ball. They forced the fumble. They recovered the fumble, scored the touchdown. Then Arlington, they still had like 45 seconds on the clock. They could have turned that into points. At least got into field goal range to try to win it. And Pauly came up with the interception, so it sealed the deal. So.
Sounds like late mistakes on Arlington's behalf in the second half. That late mistakes cost them the game, really. You said that they had a safety that was because of a lateral that went forward, right?
Illegal forward pass.
And then eventually they turn around and fumble the ball inside the 10-yard line. So, I mean, it sounds like I'm not saying gave the game away, but they definitely made mistakes to get the game or lost,
I think that's becoming Pauly's MO. I believe they did something similar to Ramona last week. They came back and edged Ramona. So it was 7-6 at halftime. At halftime, it could have still went either way between Pauly and Arlington. And it started getting real juicy in the last 2 minutes or so.
Well, it's going to get interesting because, Pauly's kind of, made a couple wins against Riverside teams. It'll be interesting moving forward to see what they do. It'll be interesting to see how Arlington reacts to that loss. And, it's kind of changed the landscape of the teams in Riverside, that Arlington's been kind of 3 steps ahead of all the other Riverside teams as far as level of play. And it seems that at least Pauly has come back into the fray to try and, obviously by beating Arlington, they got bragging rights for another year.
Yeah, all they had to do was hang around. And they just hung around all game. And then all it took was 2 plays to kind of swing the momentum. It's kind of funny, in high school football, 1 minute, the Arlington side's going nuts. They had the game in the bag because they had the ball. The Lions had the ball. All they had to do was eat up the clock. A couple plays here. If they got 1 first down, it was game over. In fact, I had my camera. I was walking towards the gate, assuming, okay, they're going to get the first down, run out the clock, game over. And then there was a penalty. It was like 1st and 15, brought them back, and then they couldn't do it. They fumbled it and gave it up, and it could have been Arlington's victory tonight against Pauly, but they could not get it done late in the ballgame.
In Arlington's defense, they're actually having, they've had a lot of turnover in the program the last year. Their top rusher, Superior Reed, has moved on to college, and they had a quarterback they had there for a couple years who was rather good. They had a lot of good players. They still have a great team. Now they're a lot younger. They're trying to fill in those positions again.
And it's worth mentioning Derek Stokes, who had a touchdown that we saw in the highlights. He left the game early with an injury. I'm not quite sure what it was, but he left the game. That's why R. Kelly, my guy Reuben Kelly, he was getting some playing time there in the backfield, and he even scored a touchdown as we saw. But
any reason for you to sing R. Kelly?
Just nobody wins when I sing, but I had to. I saw the back of his jersey said R. Kelly, and I'm like, that's kind of funny. I'm going to shoot that. Just like the Bear, the mascot had to show a ticket to get into the football game. So I thought that was great.
Yeah, where are you from? Where are you from?
Yeah. Do you really go to Pauly? Are you really a Bear?
I'm going to have to see ID.
Yeah.
Can I see some ID?
The Bear's all checking its pockets. So. It was a great game. I was glad to be out there. So.
Well, why don't we go back through the scores again as soon as we can? So why don't you start? Hold on just one.
Hopefully we got some fresh scores still coming in. A lot of the big games we saw, Centennial picking up the win. North upsetting Alemany. That was a huge one. So a lot of great games. A lot of good highlights, too. So make sure you're always checking our website even after the show because we'll post those on demand. So you can go to our website at any point to see the highlights of your choice. Once again, Centennial gets their first win of the season. They bounced back after losing a tough home loss to St. Bonaventure, although the Seraphs are a very good football team. But they go on the road and beat Mater Dei. Some say Mater Dei is down this season, but still a quality win for the Huskies. 28-20 your final score in that one. And moving on to the next score, Fountain Valley, Corona. Corona still searching for their first win of the season. 28-10, they lose to Fountain Valley in this one. La Sierra taking on King. I believe that's one of our director guys in the back, Drexler. That's his team, King. He went to King. He said they were going to win tonight. Drexler, I guess you got this one wrong. They're 0-3. 26-13, La Sierra picks up the victory tonight. There it is, the shocker if you're just tuning in. North knocking off Alemany. Alemany regarded as one of the top teams in the state. Very good team, but they come to Riverside, and North beats them by 1, 36-35. We have some of those highlights already on our site, so go ahead and check those out. Riverside Poly, Arlington, we were just talking about it. Poly would not give up. They fought to the finish, and a key turnover by Arlington, and Poly turned that into points, and they win 15-14. Roosevelt, Murrieta Valley, another close one here. And Murrieta Valley gets it done against a good Roosevelt team, 35-34. Santiago, they lost some key players in this one, including their quarterback, and it hurt them. So they lose to Vista Murrieta 25-0, your final score. Vista Murrieta proves it 2-0. Citrus Hill, Great Oak, Citrus Hill, they roll out to 3-0 as they put the squeeze on Great Oak, 42-7, your final on this one. Tockwitz, Murrieta Mesa looking strong, piling up 48 points. They win 48-15 against Tockwitz. Lakeside, Temecula Valley. Temecula Valley had the lead, and they gave it up, battled back, though. They're 3-0. Lakeside drops to 0-3, 21-17, your final. Paris and Canyon Springs. Paris nips Canyon Springs 23-22, so Canyon Springs drops to 0-3, still searching for their first win of the season. How about some Thursday night football action? It's on our website right now, the highlights. Norte Vista, Ramona, it was 3-0 at the half, and Norte Vista comes away with a 22-14 win against Ramona. Valley View and Patriot. Valley View, they improved to 3-0 on the season. Patriot still searching for their first win, 21-6 your final. Heritage and Beaumont. Heritage, they're 3-0. They're ranked number 2 in the Eastern Division right now, and for good reason. Check it out, 34-9. They beat up on Beaumont. Indio and Hemet. We're all rooting for Hemet. Hemet wins 38-34 against Indio, so Hemet gets their first win of the season. West Valley, Paloma Valley, a lot of Valley in this one. 58-21, Paloma Valley your winner. West Valley still winless as of this season after week 2. Diamond Ranch, Elsinore. Elsinore, number 1 in the Eastern Division, and they'll probably hold on to that top spot after picking up another win. They're 3-0, 27-20 against Diamond Ranch. Steel Canyon, Temescal Canyon. Temescal Canyon comes up short in this one, 24-10 your final score. Fontana and Summit. Summit, Tony Brill's guys, the Skyhawks, soaring high tonight, 42-0 against Faux High, those Steelers. Redlands, East Valley, San Gorgonio, another game that we have highlights from. 35-zip. Rev gets it done. They're the number 1 team in the Inland Area poll right now, taking over that top spot from Centennial from the previous week. All right, when we come back, we're going to have additional highlights from a lot of the games. And Heritage and Beaumont, Citrus Hill, Great Oak. Maybe we'll even recap the Poly Arlington game. And, of course, if you missed it, Alemany North. That was a great game as well. So we're ripping through all the highlights. We had people everywhere shooting games tonight. Heritage at Beaumont. Here we go. Jamal Morrow for the Patriots. 50 yards on this scoring scamper. And that's a touchdown. Later in the opening quarter, Angel Wilson for the Cougars here. And they're going to tack on the extra point. Or Angel Wilson for the Cougars. He blocks the extra point. Then later, the Cougars, Josh Martin throws a nice reception to Dejon Brown for a flying first down, they say. Handoff now. Later, the Patriots' Tony Hefo, the big fella. I guess he's a running back. I mean, they list him as a running back. The big fella takes that one in for a 20-yard score. Then the Patriots, the Cougars. The pass is tipped, and check out that play. The diving grab by the Cougars, Pierre Simpson. Then later it's number 44 for the Patriots, the big fella again, Hefo. The hefty load, getting it done here for the Patriots. 30 yards on that carry. And that would set up another Heritage touchdown here. And Heritage goes on to beat Beaumont. I don't have the score in front of me. I don't have the score in front of me, but we can tell you that Heritage did defeat Beaumont. All right, next up, Citrus Hill taking on Great Oak. Our fearless leader, Nels Jensen, on the case in this one, shooting the awesome highlights. Thank you, Nels. Davian Payne bringing the pain, charges up the middle for 21 there. The Colorado recruit. He's going to add 13 more yards on this carry. He was a real pain for Great Oak today. Payne's going to ramble for another 15. I wonder what his yards per carry was. It was probably pretty good because they were all double digits. Payne gains 13 more, all the way down to the doorstep to the 1 yard line. He did the work. Let him punch it in. Dives in for Citrus Hill's first score of the game. Later, Citrus Hill quarterback Trevor Hodge keeps it, calls his own number, takes it up the middle. Go ahead, do the math. 60 yards on the score, and the route is on for Citrus Hill. Later, Hodge, the quarterback, lofts a TD pass. And this highlight brought to you by the letters K and J. KJ Young hauls it in for the score. Hodge and Young, the duo, they get it done again, hooking up for another touchdown pass, 42-7, as Citrus Hill goes on to improve to 3-0 on the season. So Citrus Hill enjoying a great start in 2011. And Davian Payne doing a great job. All right, we're loaded with highlights. The scores are still coming in. We'll pass those along as we get them. Maybe we'll even talk to a reporter or two and do some analysis. Who knows what's coming up? But keep it here. You're watching your favorite show, HS Game Time Live.
Watching HS Game Time Live on Friday nights? If you do, then you'll love HSGT's Roundup. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night, myself and Chris Ercole will bring you all the high school sports action, from volleyball to boys water polo, even girls tennis. You name it, we'll have it every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night at hsgametime.pe.com.
So, what's it gonna be? We could ride bikes, skating, movies, zoo.
All right, so
whatever you guys want to do.
Which order you want to go? Videos rehashed. Because we have some more. We have obviously like 5 games now. We can go back through them again.
Do we have anything new or not? No.
Well, I'm trying to get stuff new. We just had the 2 new ones we just put in there, the Beaumont and the...
Yeah, that was awesome.
So we have that.
How long have you been using?
Should we go back to North?
Style, John?
We can't go back to North. We can go however you want to do it.
Okay, let's do...
it looks like it's like 1940.
Let's do...
I mean, how did you come up with that? It's 2-sided, right?
It is.
Here,
and it's just so...
Okay,
team
so
1 is on one side.
Okay, let's do...
and you can flip it over and do...
Flip it over.
Let's do Cajon Kaiser.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can use it on the sideline or the press box.
Okay.
And do you feel comfortable with this? Do you ever make any mistakes?
Holly Arlington.
Oh yeah, mistakes are made occasionally.
Red
but,
Sanji.
yeah, I feel very comfortable.
So usually though, you like to be. This is for sideline duty.
Hold on.
It can go either way.
Do we want to do the Thursday night game
I prefer the press
at all?
box because I can block from up there.
Okay.
So this particular thing.
Let's do those
this
4,
is
and there was
this
one
is
more.
this is gonna be the press box. Would you have this in the press box too?
I would have it in the press box, and that way, if any of my colleagues or
First?
foes get out of hand, I can just kind of whap them too.
Even better. Even better. Well, that's some more wise and sage advice from the prep dog here at HS Game Time.
We cover the issues you care about. Here at the Press Enterprise and PE.com, local news matters whether you live along Route 66 or on Main Street. We provide regional analysis and in-depth investigation of issues like education,
transportation, the environment, and much more. Important matters are covered here. That is how we keep you connected to your community. The Press Enterprise and PE.com. For home delivery, call 1-800-794-NEWS.
Nice. No.
Oops. Yeah, sure. Let's go. Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy. Works every time. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov.
You know, the interviews, the commentary, that's you know, kind of the popping off, having fun. I think sometimes with a game of football, we put so much pressure and realize it's just high school football and it's a game and we're supposed to have fun. And I think HSGT kind of makes it fun.
Did he just diss you?
He just dissed us, yeah.
I cannot believe that.
We are your breaking news leader. News happens. Stay up to date with expanded coverage in the Press Enterprise delivered to your home. Follow the story throughout the day on PE.com. Receive news updates in your inbox or on your mobile device. That is how we keep you connected to your community. The Press Enterprise and PE.com. For home delivery, call 1-800-794-NEWS.
And welcome back to HS Game Time Live. I'm Pep Fernandez. We got all the highlights ready for you. A lot of great games tonight. Games that went down to the finish and some upsets that you might be surprised about. We'll bring you the highlights and scores in just a second. But first, let's look at some of the top players from tonight in week number 2. Some guys who really stood out for their teams with some stats. The top performers from week number 2. Of course, Justin George from North. North picking up the big upset victory against Alemany. 2-point conversion in the final minute. Justin George, the quarterback from North. Hayden Gavitt, the quarterback at Centennial. 2 touchdown runs late in the game as Centennial would rally past Mater Dei on the road. Demetrius Moore, the signal caller at Bloomington. He goes 9 carries, 120 yards, 10 of 15 passing, 245 yards through the air, and 2 scores for Bloomington tonight. And those are some of our star performers. Another quarterback, Trevor Hodge from Citrus Hill. You just saw him in some of the highlights. 60-yard touchdown run and also 2 touchdown passes through the air. Valley View quarterback, Abraham Nuno, 14 of 16 passes, 2 scores from him. How about some defense? We love our D here on HS Game Time Live. Michael Almondover from Vista Murrieta, blocked punt for the safety and a touchdown on a fumble for recovery. So Almondover, a big game for Vista Murrieta tonight. So those are some of the star performers we're looking at that were game changers in week number 2, some of our star performers. And as you'll see when we go through the highlights, you can make a case for a lot of other star performers. Here's a couple more. Chase Chambers from Murrieta Mesa. He's a quarterback, 3 touchdowns passing, also 1 on the ground for Chase. Running back, Jamal Williams. They also let Dante Dion carry the ball for Summit. That's a pretty nasty 1-2 punch for Summit. 3 touchdowns rushing and 1 receiving for Jamal Williams and the Skyhawks. Quarterback, Colton Gerhardt, 164 yards, 3 touchdowns in the first half for Norco as Gerhardt puts together a nice game there. So we're going to go back to the highlights, and as we've been telling you all night, North maybe with the game of the night, inviting Alemany into the inland area to Riverside, and North sending them away packing with a loss. North in this one early on. This is the flea flicker. Justin George, one of their stars of the week, to Denzel Foster, 33 yards. To Garrett Biggers, the big gain there for North for the Huskies. Then later, George, a 44-yard pass to Aaron Peck. He's going to haul it in, and he's down just about the goal line. And then George is going to punch it in here as North goes up early, 7-zip against Alemany. This game played at RCC tonight. Now we move to the second quarter. Alemany with the ball. Devin Dunn, 21-yard pass to Stephen Mitchell here. Nice gain there for Alemany. And then it's Dunn, the 40-yard pass. He's going to air this one out to Jericho Richardson. That led to a 2-yard touchdown run by Cameron Washington, and that made it 7-6. Though later, North coming up with a big interception. Leon Smith, 39-yard return, brought out to the 3-yard line. Huge play by Leon Smith for North to put the Huskies in business. Then it's Foster, 2-yard touchdown run, and North extends their lead to 14-6. Alemany, though, still hanging around. As we said, this game was close. Done to Jeff Farr there for the big gain, and then it's Cameron Washington, a 4-yard touchdown run. That tied it at 14, but North gets it done tonight. They knock off Alemany, one of the top teams in the state, by final score of 36-35. North getting it done against Alemany. That game was close. Cajon and Kaiser, not so close. Cajon looking very good. The Cowboys, there we go. Edwin Martinez throwing the ball to Taylor Moore there, who runs it in for a score. That makes it 14-0 Cowboys. Later, Kaiser's Ryan Mata sends the ball to Desmond Ferreira. Nice long run, and he's going to get in for the score. That made it 14-7, and that would be Kaiser's only points of the game for the Cats. Later to the second quarter. The nice long kickoff return here by number 7, Jordan Howard, weaving in and out of traffic. He won't go down. Dude won't take no for an answer. Stays on his feet. Howard's going to turn that corner, break off a couple more tackles, and he's finally ridden down at the 20-yard line. Nice return by Howard. Then it's Edwin Martinez dropping back, the southpaw. The pretty throw to DeAndre Casey, driving me crazy, 31-7. Then it's the 90-yard run here by Keontae Montgomery. You can't stop it. Montgomery in for the score. And Cajon goes on to throttle the Cats 28-10 at that point. 52-7 your final score. Cajon beating up on Kaiser. All right, Pauley and Arlington. Another, this was a close game similar to North and Alemany, not similar to Cajon and Kaiser. Pauley taking on Arlington. The Lions fired up so far early in this one, but it was the Bears striking first. Stephen Ham to Matt Peck on the long touchdown play right out of the gate. 7-zip Riverside Pauley. And everyone needs a ticket. Even the Pauley Bear. There it is, sir. There's my friends. Please let them in. Later in the first quarter, I'm stoked about this. Derek Stoke punches in the touchdown, 7-6. Later in the second quarter, Lions D, Ethan Pop, and Samson Kovavalu, they stuffed the Bears' run on that play. And then later in the second quarter, how about some more Arlington defense? Robbie Chavez, the sack there for the Lions. It was 7-6, Pauley on top at halftime. And did you know R. Kelly plays for Arlington? I believe I can fly. I just sang again, guys. R. Kelly, Reuben Kelly punches it in for the score, plus the 2-point conversion, 14-7 Arlington. To the fourth quarter, Arlington with the ball inside their own 5. That's a safety for Pauley. Illegal forward pass, and that makes it 14-9. Pauley still trailing. Now it's the Lions with the ball once again deep in their own territory, trying to run out the clock, but they fumble with less than a minute to play. And Pauley turns that into points. Ham to John Stewart with 44 seconds left. No extra point, though, but Pauley still takes the lead, 15-14. Arlington has one last drive. The long pass play is eaten up. That's the Bears' Matt Peck with the pick, and that would seal the deal. You can check out the Pauley sideline going crazy as Pauley rallies against Arlington. 15-14, your final score. So a costly turnover late. Arlington could have easily won that game. Now, Rev, our new number one in our HS Game Time rankings, the number one team in the inland area, taking on San Gorgonio. Early in this one, San G quarterback Monroe off-field, the keeper on 27 yards there. And then later, off-field, now with the ball, he's going to get a loss on this one of 4 yards. The drive would stall, off-field, running with it, and he's got nowhere to go. The Wildcats defense bottles him up. So they attempt a field goal, and they would not get it. Then later, it's the Wildcats' Jesse Riley. He's going to take that one in. That makes it 7-zip. Rev on top. Off-field now with the ball. He's going to look to pass downfield. Intercepted by Jamal Ellis for the Cats. And the score was 7-zip at halftime, so it was close between Rev and San G heading into the break. Now we go to the third quarter. Rev stops San G on 4th and short. Nice defensive stand by Rev. So Rev takes over. Carlos Fabriz starts to get it going. The big carry here by Double Deuce to the 10-yard line. And then it's the 18-yard screen pass from Austin Deku, the quarterback, to Carlos Fabriz. That makes it 14-zip. Rev on top. And check out that run. Gets into the paint. 14-zip. Later, it's Sanji with the ball once again off field. Back in the gun. He's got it. He's got it. And he doesn't got it. Slips right out of his hands there. Trevor Douglas for Rev recovers the fumble. And that gives them the Wildcats the ball in the red zone. So that would set up this. A 15-yard touchdown run for Riley. His second score of the game. 21-zip, Rev on top. Sanji finally starting to get something going for the first time in the second half. Jamie Snowton with a nice run for Sanji all the way down to about the 40-yard line. Very next play, if it ain't broke, what do I always say? Don't fix it. Snowton here with another big pickup. Won't go down. Keeps the legs moving. The 30, the 20, all the way down to about the 15-yard line. A few plays later, off-field, trying to get his team into the paint, get their first points of the game, but the Wildcats force another fumble, and Rev would recover. Now we move to the fourth quarter. We're going to show you one more Wildcats touchdown. It's going to be the quarterback, Austin Deku, calling his own number. He's going to run it in for the score. Rev goes up 28-zip. They go on to beat Sanji by a final score of 35-0. Next up, a contributor here on HS Game Time Live and all-around good guy, Chris
Pleasure
Erickley.
as always to be in your presence, Pep.
The pleasure is all mine, Chris Erickley.
I was out at Vista tonight.
I thought this was going to be a good game, but apparently there were some injuries, right, to Santiago that kind of shifted the favor to Vista.
I would not want to be on offense for Santiago tonight because those guys were getting the hard hits from the D-line of Vista. They were showing no mercy. We'll see a big highlight from that here in a second, but really Vista took control from the start tonight. Etowanda really took them down to the last second last week. It took a miracle of a field goal for them to edge out the 31-28 win, but there was no question, as we will see here in the highlights, about Vista being on top tonight. They were the top dogs. Here we go. They were playing the rally victory song to start the game were the Broncos, and of course with Mr. Reliable Tyler Rasa. There's no question about that one. That's a 25-yard field goal. All good. 3-0 Broncos, and they'd continue to roll later in the first quarter. It's Mr. Nick Stevens, the junior, connecting with Larry Parrish for the 40-yard pickup. And a few plays later, all you need is Aaron Piconis running in for the touchdown. It's Wayne's World party time. Excellent. 10-0 Vista. And the Vista defense would be bringing the big hits. As I said, here it's Curtis Bolton on the QB for Santiago, Michael Dar. He would leave the game after that hit, have to take a little rest. And in the second half, it's still the Vista defense dominating. Trevor Warner taking the pick all the way down to the 12-yard line. And Stevens finishes the job with Darian Williams on the reception for the 10-yard score. 17-0 Vista. From there, Santiago's Gary Jenkins would join the sack party, but that would be too little, too late, as it would be all Vista. Here, with the blocked punt by Darian Williams for a safety. That one bounces off the field goal post. 19-0 Vista. And how about a little bit more from the defense? Now it's Vista's Michael Almendor picking up the fumble, trotting in for the touchdown Bronco style. Sua Craven's little brother's afro got in the way. It was blocking my shot a little bit. I think he wanted a little piece of the limelight. A little early for you, youngster, but it was not early for Vista as they would dominate all night long. 25-0, Coley Candell, all handshakes, party and celebration after a 25-0 with the defense throwing up a donut. I know I was talking to some of the players during the game, and they said he wasn't too thrilled about last week's game, how they almost blew the 28-7 lead they had last week against Etowanda, but no complaints when you throw up a 25-zipper at home.
No doubt about this one, Chris. Yeah. And I'm looking at our top 10 rankings. We have Vista Marietta at number 2 right now. We just saw the Rev highlights against Sanji. So what were your impressions of Vista? Obviously, Santiago was hampered by some injuries, some key players, but still Vista Marietta looked
Vista
strong.
Was no doubt dominant. I mean, Stevens, he even said to myself and Will after the game, he was a little nervous last week. You could tell, we commented on that. But this week, I mean, he wasn't perfect, but he definitely settled in when he did pass. They were smart passes, as you saw that big 40-yard pickup that he had. I mean, he just looked like he was a lot more relaxed. I mean, it's only his second start as a varsity quarterback, so you got to cut the kid a bit of a break. But you give this kid a couple more games. Next week they got Los Osos on the docket. That game's in Rancho Cucamonga. That's going to be no joke of a game. So give that kid a couple more reps. You know, after that they have a couple other primetime non-league games. Give him a couple more reps in the non-league, and I think he'll be ready to rock come Southwestern League play.
And also probably the playoffs. So William Christopher Holden was also at your game as
He was.
well.
We've basically been following in each other's shadows, I guess you could say.
So if he's done with the story, we should get him in here and he can talk a little bit as well. But Vista Murrieta, there, as we're looking at our rankings right now, we got Rev, Vista, Norco, and then Centennial, as we mentioned.
I think those top 2 spots are safe for next week.
Yeah, what did they come out on Wednesday or Thursday? So there probably won't be much jockeying for position, much shuffling in the weeks to come because Rev with a convincing win against San G, and obviously Vista Murrieta taking care of Santiago. So this quarterback, if he manages the games well, they could be a tough team to beat.
He's definitely still a work in progress. He's a junior, but we could just tell after the game. I mean, we said last week against Etowanda, he was a little shaken up. He was on the road, but he said this week, I mean, they had probably 2,000-3,000 people on their home side, so he felt a lot more comfortable with that home crowd support. I mean, he's going to have a big test on the road next week against Los Osos, but I mean, so he's got to be ready to get thrown back into the fire. But he's impressive for a junior, only in his second start for sure, no doubt. And then another thing that impressed me was Sua Cravens. Last week he kind of had to save the day for them as their kind of both sides superstar, but he kind of played a background role today, which was impressive that the team was still so dominant without him really taking a major role.
All right, I think Big Z has a phone call for us. Hey, Erkley,
that's right.
Just
we
sit tight.
We got a report from the Notre Dame Palo Verde Valley game from tonight.
Is this one of your family members, Zink?
Yeah. They're all family members.
Everyone at Notre Dame's related.
Dave Brabica, how you doing, bud?
Hey, Dave.
We're hanging in there. It was a rough night tonight.
So give us a feel for what happened.
What happened? Well, we gave up a bunch of big plays, about 300 yards passing, and it was a close game in the second half, and we gave up 20 points in the third quarter. So it's kind of similar to last week.
So you drove 300 miles to do that?
We gave up 300 yards passing.
Yeah, but you drove 300 miles to do that.
I'm sorry. I'm having trouble hearing you.
Hey, Dave.
Yes?
Can you hear me? Dave?
Dave, what?
So I just said you drove 300 miles to do that?
No, it's 189 actually. I just asked somebody right now. So no, we did not drive 300 miles. But yes, it's going to be a very long bus ride home, Dave. But we're watching The Proposal with Ryan Reynolds. So we got some quality entertainment on the charter bus here, Dave.
Pep, you got an answer for him there?
Is that how you handle a loss? Just kind of.
Is that supposed to be a good thing?
Yeah, indulge in a sappy romantic comedy.
I hate the movie, by the way, but everyone else likes it. So it's torture for me. First we get killed, and then I gotta watch this movie. It's bad night for me. Yeah.
Well, perhaps next week against Xavier Prep, you guys can chalk up another W.
I just want to mention on a more personal note, I'll just make it. My son had his first interception, Paul. The bad news was he should have had 2. The second one turned into a touchdown for the other team. So that's what he's going to be thinking about for probably tonight.
Well, Dave, thanks so much for calling in. Tell the guys we're sorry to hear about the loss, but shake it off. You got another game next week. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, well, thank you, Lewis.
We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Guys.
A loss and the proposal back to back.
Yeah, that's got to hurt.
There's the number on the screen, 951-260-0474. Go ahead and be like Dave and call in if you want to talk about your game.
Maybe somebody that was out at the Centennial Mater Dei game. Could we get somebody from that?
That would be great because we didn't get any video back from that one, but we heard that Hayden Gavitt had 2 late touchdowns to rally Centennial.
We will have Mr. Gavitt on HSGT late night at about 12:20.
Really?
So,
tonight?
Yeah, tonight, Mr. Gavitt will be calling in, giving the full breakdown, and it sounds like we have a Centennial fan on the line as we speak.
Hello, you're on HS Game Time Live.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going? Hey, this is Pep and Chris. How's it going?
You there?
Good. How are you?
So were you out at the Centennial game tonight?
Yes, I was.
How'd you guys look? I mean, against Modern Day, that's a big game and a big win after last week, right?
Or not? Centennial.
Are you with? He's speechless.
I guess
we got nothing, guys.
And it was
head on back to the conversation.
It was a great game because Centennial, as we mentioned, they were down on the road at Modern Day and they rallied. I'm excited about this Gavin interview on HS Game Time late night because
we don't have highlights. Yeah, so I really want to see it. I mean, you saw them last week. I mean, can't hang their heads after a loss like that.
No,
against
St. Bonnie's good. Yeah.
I mean, we dropped them all the way to number 4 on our list, but these guys are easily top 3.
EPJ and Prep Dog and the rest of the crew, they were not impressed. I guess there's no such thing as a good loss, but St. Bonaventure was a very good team, so they dropped to number 4. But they go on the road. As we mentioned, some would say Modern Day is subpar this season compared to their standards. Modern Day is always a very good team, but
when you're used to having Matt Barkley as your quarterback,
they've had some good players go through that program, and but still a quality win. You go on the road to Orange County and beat up on Modern Day, Hayden Gavitt. So stick around. What time you say? Like 12:20?
12:20 about there, yeah. Hopefully he's still awake.
Talk to the Centennial quarterback about his big victory, rallying his team, the Huskies, to a 28-20 win. All right, we've got another caller here on HS Game Time Live with Pep and Chris, and the Prep Dog just stepped in. So who are we talking to?
This is Coach Jameson from Rancho Christian High School.
Hey, Coach, how are you? How'd you guys do tonight?
We played last night. We played against Duarte in a 120-13, pretty hard fight. We went up 20-0 at halftime, but they came back and gave us a tough game.
So you guys held on. What was the difference in the second half in holding on to that game?
They made some great adjustments. We were tearing them up pretty good the first half. I have a great running back over there named Bijan Hill. He scored his 6th touchdown of the year last night, rushed for 222 yards and 2 touchdowns. But they just made some great adjustments on us, and like I said, came back and made it a close game. It was a hard fight.
Wow, so a great game there. You said 222 yards on the ground?
22 on the ground, and Deshaun Fortune, our freshman phenom, he had 107 yards himself. So we're getting off to a good start.
Well, congratulations, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thanks for calling the show. We really do appreciate it, and keep us posted on how your team's doing this season.
Oh, you got it. You got it. You guys have a great night.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach. All right, we've got Chris Erickley here, and to his left, the one and only
Prep Dog.
Prep Dog. What's up, Prep Dog? What game were you at tonight?
Mr. Rev.
Rev Sanji.
Is Rev that good, or Sanji had some trouble with the Wildcats?
Rev played a pretty good game. Sanji kind of made it.
Microphone, please.
They made it a little bit easy on him by fumbling twice. Kind of a fluke thing where the quarterback lost his hold on the ball as he was going to throw, and same kid, Trevor Douglas, recovered it in both instances.
We saw that in the highlights. So we have them at number 1 right now.
Do they maintain your top spot?
Yeah. I wasn't one of the people who voted them number 1.
Do you now?
I mean, they didn't do anything to, threaten that number 1 ranking, but I don't know. I'd be more inclined to go with a different team, probably maybe Vista Murrieta.
I was impressed with their performance tonight. I don't know if you got a chance to see the highlights, but they made Santiago look pretty pedestrian.
Nice word.
Thank you.
So what do you think of Deku at quarterback, and also Riley ran in some?
Coach Bruick decided to really throw the ball a lot, throw it all over the lot in the first half especially. And they were just obviously working on their passing game. It seemed like they could have run almost at will had they chosen to. But as Bruick said, it's a practice game and it's time to work on passing and things that they're not, not their strengths. So they did with some success, but not as much as they wanted. There were a lot of misfires and drop balls.
Did we get any involvement from the young Markham out there tonight for Rev?
Blake Braun had a touchdown catch. That is. Let's see. That's the young Bruick, I believe. Yeah, that's Kurt's sister's son.
So the grandson of one of our local legends had a big game tonight.
Well, he had a touchdown catch.
Very good. I believe we are taking a call now,
Yeah. Hey, how's it going? You're here with Prep Dog, Chris Ericoli, and Pep Fernandez on HS Game Time Live.
Hey, how's it going? How's it going?
We're doing great. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing awesome, man. Awesome. I actually got to see the Riverside North versus Alameda game tonight, and that was an amazing game.
Going into it, did you think North had a chance?
Oh my God! I mean, for a minute there, I was actually at the game. For a minute there, they looked like they were down and out. It looked like they were going to give up, and they had a big turnover, and momentum shifted, and they definitely came back with a lot of energy and a lot of fight.
So do you think North's going to enjoy a great season, kind of springboard off of this, and maybe be one of the better teams in the Inland area?
I really hope so. They have a few. They have some really good talented players. I mean, the support from the fans was there. I mean, the whole stadium was jam packed. It hasn't been like that in years. So it's good to see that they have the support of the fans, and I think they can carry it through and have a great season.
You think it was really after last week's kind of dismantling of Colton that kind of inspired a Husky fever?
I definitely believe so. I mean, I don't even think they themselves thought that they're going to do that well. So I definitely think that they're gaining more confidence, and hopefully as the weeks progress, they're gonna be a better and better team.
All right, North is back. Hey, what's your name?
My name is Lupe from Riverside.
Lupe, thank you so much for calling HS Game Time Live. We really appreciate it.
No, thank you guys, and thank you, your camera guy Adam, for doing a great job shooting the game.
Big shout out from Lupe to Drexler. Yeah.
Another big effort for Justin Georgie.
This was a paid commercial announcement there, guys.
Yeah.
Very good.
For Drexler. So, Georgie lead North to Prep Dog. Do you know much about Alameda? We know they're one of the better programs in the state. I think they're ranked. Weren't they coming into this? And they came here to play in Riverside, and they come away with a loss.
Yeah, it's a good win for the North Huskies, who, as we saw last week, have talent all over the football field.
All right, let's go back to the Rev real quick. You were talking about the offense, how they were throwing a little bit with Deku more. Defensively, correct me if I'm wrong, is that back-to-back shutouts now for Rev?
Yeah, they shut Dominguez out 30-zip and then 35-0 today. Sanji moved the ball a little bit, but they weren't able to punch one in, and then, they kind of shot themselves in the foot a couple of times.
So 2 shutouts, and you still don't put Rev in your top spot?
I wasn't as impressed with their win over Dominguez as some people were, because Dominguez got blown out in their first game. But obviously Rev is a very fine team.
True.
We're looking at some of the highlights now against San Gorgonio. Off field, spent much of the night on the run. There's a Rev interception. That was by, I believe, Jamal Ellis coming up with the interception for the Wildcats. So seems like Rev kept off field on the run, and some of those fumbles were forced. The other one, like you said, Prep Dog, I think he dropped back. He was in the gun, started scrambling, and the ball just simply, slid out of his hands.
Yeah, that happened twice.
Twice?
Yeah.
So maybe it was the Rev pressure. Maybe it was just, bad misfortune for San G. There's their running back, Carlos Fabrez, taking it in for another touchdown for the Wildcats. He had a nice game. He had a couple scores tonight for the Wildcats. So they've got him. They've got Jesse Riley in the backfield. We saw Austin Deku run, and now they're letting him throw a little bit. So they've got a lot of weapons for the Wildcats. Right?
Yeah, there's that fluke fumble.
Yeah.
He's going to need some stickum or something, I think, next game.
Who does Rev have next?
That escapes me.
That's a very good question, Ericoli.
We will look into that.
So Rev obviously making a stand. Oh, look at that one. Los Osos, as we're talking about Redlands, edging Redlands High School tonight by a final score of 21-15. We haven't read that score yet, so smudge pot game later in the season when we get to league play in the CBL. But
I was talking to Redlands scorekeeper Al Sanchez, and he said it was a good game. He said the kid Craig Lee for Redlands had a 73-yard touchdown called back, so a little misfortune for the Terriers. But the Los Osos Redlands series has been a tight one. They always have good games.
So is Rev the team to beat in the CBL? Obviously, if they're our number one team in the inland area, they're the favorite.
Definitely
right?
the team to beat. I mean, I think they've won like 3 out of the last 4 titles and came real close. Miller edged them out one season. And year in and year out, you know, they are the benchmark for CBL teams of late.
All right, Rev getting it done against Sanji tonight. Prep Dog, you are the man. It was good covering water polo with you yesterday in your Hawaiian shirt and 49ers.
He was very fashionable yesterday. Very California.
He very much is.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. And
I'm sorry I didn't bring my clipboard in.
You should have.
The people have gotten a chance to see that clipboard commercial.
I imagine they're shaking their head over that. As
I
pretty
think
much
the
everybody
Oscar
is.
committee is actually under review for that.
For that promo we did with Prep Dog's.
I tried to explain it to my girlfriend, the Caltrans girl, and she wasn't getting it. But I'm not sure I do
different
either.
strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
You don't. You're so genius when the camera rolls. You don't even understand it yourself. You're kind of like Dustin Hoffman in The Rain Man, maybe. You know.
Don't friend me on Facebook anymore. I'm unfriending you.
Yeah, I officially became a Facebook friend of the Prep Dog today, but it looks like it won't even last 24 hours after that comment.
What have you been waiting so long? You guys haven't been friends on Facebook?
Just destiny has not brought us to each other until now, I guess. You know, we always banter about our great passion being the San Francisco Giants, but
This dialogue has gone downhill officially.
Quickly. It's a slippery slope here on HS Game Time Live. But if you want, myself, Chris Erickley, and Prep Dog are all on Facebook. So
yes,
friend us. And we'd love to talk high school football with you. All right, I think we have Citrus Hill, I think it was, coming up next. Citrus Hill taking on Great Oak Highlights. Thank you, Prep Dog. You are the man. Thanks for your insight on the Rev San G game. Next up, Citrus Hill taking on Great Oak. Citrus Hill off to a great start. They are 3-0 so far.
This was a
on
smash.
The season. And hey, Erickley, they got a guy named Davian Payne. You know a lot about him. He's pretty good.
Yeah, he can hop through the defense. He'll
last-
find the hole.
Yeah, last week you had that great. He hurdled some guy. So.
He was just doing his Carl Lewis. Yes.
There's Payne. We're stringing together a couple nice runs by Payne here. He's committed already to the University of Colorado. Carry after carry after carry. Finally, this one brought down at the doorstep, but he's going to punch it in on the next play. Payne flies over the top. I guess
Superman.
I guess he can jump. I bet you he can dunk a basketball. He looks like he's a pretty good jumper if he's hurdling tacklers and diving into the end zone. And then later, quarterback Trevor Hodge calling his own number, takes it up the middle, scampers 60 yards for the score. And the route is on for Citrus Hill. Hodge lofts a TD pass to K.J. Young. He hauls it in for the score. And then the duo of Hodge and Young, they get it done again. They hook up here to make it 42-7. Citrus Hill, they led 42-7 at halftime. And Citrus Hill, they improved, as we mentioned, 3-0 on the season.
I was at their game against Moreno Valley last week, and they were impressive in that one, as we saw in the highlights last week. But after their game, they in the huddle, they were saying Great Oak, was ready. They were going to be pumped up for this game. This was really going to be the test that they were going to face, and clearly they passed with flying colors, no doubt. With the lead like that at halftime, whoa, Nelly.
Was that your Keith Jackson impression?
Whoa, Nelly.
Like a pig to slop, the big uglies down in the trenches.
On to the break.
I'm Pep Fernandez. This is Chris Erickley. We've got more HS Game Time Live in just a second. Keep it right here.
We are your breaking news leader. When news happens, stay up to date with expanded coverage in the Press Enterprise delivered to your home. Follow the story throughout the day on PE.com. Receive news updates in your inbox or on your mobile device. That is how we keep you connected to your community. The Press Enterprise and PE.com. For home delivery, call 1-800-794-NEWS.
All right, guys, we got to be smarter about what we bite on, okay? I want everyone to go outside. We're going to run Red Rover on 3.
What about you, Tony?
I'm going to run around circles, flatten my arms, and make engine noises like this.
When it comes to playing, we kids are the pros.
We're eating right, too.
We fuel up.
To play 60!
Your school doesn't have a program? Be a leader. Start one.
Click today
and join the movement.
Do you enjoy watching HS Game Time live on Friday nights? If you do, then you'll love HSGT's Roundup. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night, myself and Chris Ercole will bring you all the high school sports action, from volleyball to boys water polo, even girls tennis. You name it, we'll have it every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night at hsgametime.pe.com.
What are your thoughts on Amistol and Zinc hosting that thing?
I think they're great. I love how they play off of each other and how they have a good time. So, but it kind of reminds me of the Channel 5 morning news. You know how they, at least a couple of years ago, they used to kind of screw around in there and have some fun. It just makes it fun to watch. You're lighthearted, and then plus you're getting the information you need.
We cover the issues you care about. Here at the Press Enterprise and PE.com, local news matters whether you live along Route 66 or on Main Street. We provide regional analysis and in-depth investigation of issues like education, transportation, the environment, and much more. Important matters are covered here. That is how we keep you connected to your community. The Press Enterprise and PE.com. For home delivery, call 1-800-794-NEWS.
Other tales of it.
And welcome back to HS Game Time Live. I'm Pep Fernandez. We've had a lot of great highlights, and the scores are coming in. Some upsets, some very close games that went down to the finish. Plus, we had Chris Ercole comparing Prep Dog to Rain Man. We had a shout-out to Adam Drexler back here from one of our callers calling in from the North game, and North upsetting Alemany tonight by a point, 36-35. So some great games tonight. Now looking ahead to week 3, a lot more great games that we're going to talk about. Some games of note, games that we're going to cover here with the HS Game Time crew. Murrieta Mesa going to Redlands Citrus Valley. That's a Thursday night game. And see the little camera on the screen? That means the HS Game Time team will be there shooting highlights. So make sure you check back next week for highlights from Mesa and Citrus Valley. Colton at Summit. Summit playing a Thursday night game with Colton. That'll be a good one. And then you see the You Pick'em logo on your screen. That's one of those You Pick'em games on our website, hsgametime.pe.com. If you go to the site on the left-hand side of the screen, it's our 2011 high school football contest. All you have to do is register, and you go on there, you pick who's going to win the games each week. It's fun, and it's free. That's just my price when it's free. So it's a lot of fun, too, to compare how you do with other people, plus our experts here around the Press Enterprise. So Canyon Springs at Valley View is a You Pick'em game. Chaparral at Centennial. That could be a fun game. We're going to have a camera there. We'll have highlights of this one, plus it's a You Pick'em game as well. It's even I can afford this one, Zink. It's absolutely free.
I don't know why you have to take that stuff from him.
Zip Zero, stingy with dinero.
And the contest is free!
Yeah, I love that commercial. So yes, it's free. So there's no reason not to do it. There's still plenty of time. If you didn't do it before the season started, no worries. You can sign up at any point this season, but what are you waiting for? Just do it now. It's a lot of fun. You can do it every week. Chaparral Centennial, we will have highlights. North coming off that big win against Alemany at Kaiser. It's a pick'em game. Murrieta Valley at Temescal Canyon. Highlights, and you can pick them for week 3 on our website. And Rancho Verde at Heritage. That could be a very good game.
That's
Rancho
probably
Verde
the best
Heritage.
game of the week. And Eric was talking about that earlier, that this might be the game of the week next week, that they're going to follow in the print edition of the newspaper, in the newspaper. So that's going to be an interesting one to see, because Heritage has this is a collision for Heritage, and how they're going to stack up against a very good Rancho Verde team. That's going to be one. I don't know. Maybe you'll have to cover that one yourself, Peppo. We'll have to see.
I saw Heritage in week 0.
Mm-hmm.
They were playing.
You saw Rancho Verde too.
I did see Rancho. Oh, that was the same night.
The same night, right? Yeah.
Rancho Verde was at West Valley, and Heritage was at home for San Jacinto. And
Right.
In each case, both teams look very good. Rancho Verde tossed the shutout, and
I'm looking at the chat room right now, which is a lot of people are in there or working each other over as usual.
So
and
what's cracking in there? What's the hot topic?
Well, I mean, there's a whole discussion about whether or not Murrieta Mesa are Rams or Lambs, even though they're like 3-0 after a great start. there's a lot of support for North. I mean, there's a lot of chatter back and forth between North and Centennial. So it's going to be very interesting to see, the Big 8 and as it develops, and monitoring this chat room is almost impossible. So it's going to be fun to see how this works out through there. But a lot of discussion about North and what they achieved tonight. The fans seem to be talking about that as well. If you did miss the score, they will be on hsgametime.pe.com. Obviously you're on the site already, so let's look at the blog for all the updated scores. The scores are constantly being updated by our crew here, and we'll get some more here in a minute. And we have now.
Yeah, Lewis, you mentioned.
Speaking of Lambs.
Yeah, I would say the Rams and the Lambs. We have the Mesa taking on Tockwitz highlights ready to roll. Our guy Angel at the game bringing these highlights back to us. And here they come. Here come the Rams, or the Lambs, depending who you are in the chat room, I guess.
Gorgeous stadium. One of the best stadiums around.
Early on, Chase Chambers, the quarterback, the lefty, hits Khalil Sharp, the long pass there to keep the chains moving for Marietta Mesa. Then it's Chambers on the sneak. He gets in for the touchdown. Then later, Tanner Lindy, the kicker for the Rams. He boots one through, so that would make it 10-7. And then the kick return, we're told it's interrupted on this one.
It was like a 7-yard kick.
Yeah, there it goes. And then Mesa, there's Chambers rolling out. He's got his guy there to get another touchdown there. Sounds like Chambers had himself quite a ball game. Something about a lefty throwing a football just looks so good. And then number 4 here, he's going to take that pass from Chambers for another big gain there. And then Chambers, he's going to roll out. The lefty hits his man in there, number 14, Connor Pritchard for the touchdown. And then another Mesa field goal, 28-7 there in the second quarter. If you catch my drift, it was a lot of Mesa tonight against Tockwitz. The interception there by Dominic Odegaard for the Rams, and then it's Chambers to Keenan Roseman. He's going to take that in for the touchdown. How about another Mesa field goal? We love the kickers here on HS Game Time Live, 42-7 in the third quarter. Tockwitz, they get a score, but unfortunately we don't know the guy's name. He was not on the roster, but we want to give him a little bit of love. So he gets him for the score. It did count 42-15 in the fourth quarter as Mesa, the Rams.
Mesa looks pretty good. They look pretty good.
3-0 for Mesa so far against Tockwitz.
That's our first look at them this season. And, that's a Tockwitz team that gave fits to Temescal Canyon last week. So I'm kind of curious about Marietta Mesa. They have some athletes. They got some guys who can play the ball. I don't know. What do you think, Zink? You watch that film. What do you think?
Obviously way improved over last year, and Marietta's known. I mean, that area is known for good football players, and obviously Marietta Mesa's picking up the slack from last year.
3-0.
I still got to say, best stadium in that area.
Oh,
best
it's amazing.
stadium.
Gorgeous
It's a college stadium.
Yeah, it's amazing. As I told Pep before, it reminds me of Buchanan High School up in the Fresno area.
Yeah, Clovis.
No, I've never seen that one, but
gorgeous too.
This one is very nice.
Marietta Valley Unified School District 3-0 tonight. 3 good wins. They beat Roosevelt, they beat Santiago, and they beat Tockwitz tonight. So a good win for all of them here. What should we do? Let's look. Did we get all the games and note in? By the way, Drexler?
I don't think so.
Let me look at let's look at the second page of that.
More big games in week 3.
More big games in week 3. They were sort of in kind of a strange order. Yeah, so there's Poly at Citrus Hill, Pep, this Marietta at Los Osos. That's a very big game. Yucaipa at San G. We talked about Yucaipa. They've been scoring 40 points plus per game. They've only allowed 3 points, Pep, in their last 3 games. They're playing at San G, which has had to run the gauntlet now of Rancho Verde, Redlands East Valley, and now the T-Birds come to town. Hemet and Paris in the annual renewal of a game that sometimes has not been very nice between these two teams. They play at Paris. Hemet rarely loses to Paris, but Paris is on a roll right now after beating Canyon Springs. Their first 2-0 start since 1996. A great win for them against Canyon Springs tonight. That was one of those games where fans were sort of picking Canyon Springs. 60% picked Canyon Springs. Temecula Valley at Elsinore in a game that surprisingly is a rivalry game, or used to be at least. Indio at San Jacinto. 29 Palms playing at Banning. Rest of the list here, Upland playing at Norco. I don't know what the result was there on Upland at Serrano. Lassier at Tockwitz. Compton at Roosevelt. That game was interesting to us earlier until Don Markham quit as the coach there. West Valley at Laguna Hills. Ontario Christian at Rupa Valley. La Quinta at Arlington. And Etowanda at A.B. Miller. But the game of the week next week, definitely Rancho Verde and Heritage.
I'm excited. Both of those teams look very good. Looking at our top 10, Rancho Verde checking at number 5. Heritage checking in at number 8. So after week 3, there's going to be some shuffling in that order because one of those teams might go up, one of them might fall out of the top 10. I can't wait for, I know I keep harping on the CBL, but Rev against Ukaipa. Could Ukaipa actually hang with the Wildcats this season? It's hard to say.
What did the prep doc say? I missed that part. I was actually doing something else. Did he have any comments on that?
He did. He was impressed with Rev because he says they're throwing the ball a little bit now.
What does he say? What does he say about his beloved T-Birds, though?
His beloved T-Birds? He did not mention Ukaipa. It was all Rev. We touched on the Terriers a little bit because they lost.
Of course, he touched on the Terriers.
They lost at Los Osos.
Let's see if he has any comments on the trifecta here. Well, they are rolling. That's an understatement there. That was an update there. The other one, too, that's interesting, the Rancho Christian guy that called in, they beat Duarte yesterday, 20-13. That's a good win for a program that's basically just getting started. Of course, that's the, Terrell Davis and those guys are helping out with that program. So that's a great win. I mean, that we kind of, I think, maybe overlooked them a little bit, but they go on and be, I don't know how good Duarte is, but they're established.
Yeah.
They're a big school, so... I don't know.
And we know Coach called in. He's got a good running back, 222 yards on the ground, he said tonight, and he had a sixth touchdown of the year. That was a Thursday night game, so a big win for them on Thursday night.
The chat room's completely out of hand now.
Is it out of control?
There's this whole centennial. There's this whole centennial debate going on now, and then now they've got Obama. Obama will not let Centennial lose this year. Is one of the lines of conversation that's going on right now. Yeah. Novi will win CIF. Centennial used to be number 1 in the Big 8 are some of the comments that are flaring around here.
And speaking of Centennial...
I don't see any poly-trash. Yeah, there's just so much going on. Mesa, Elsinore. Elsinore did get a win tonight against Diamond Ranch. They had to work pretty hard on that.
Hey, and speaking of Centennial, a plug, Chris Erkley said they're going to have the quarterback, Hayden Gavitt, on the late night show.
Right.
Centennial went on the road and beat Mater Dei. Gavitt had 2 touchdowns late against Mater Dei to propel the Huskies to a victory. So they're going to have Gavitt on about 12:20. So in about, a half hour, 45 minutes from now, they'll have Centennial quarterback Hayden Gavitt on the late night show and talk about their road win at Mater Dei.
Well, let's take a look one more time at the north highlights for a minute, because that's clearly the kind of the big shocker of the night that's going to reverberate all weekend long as North, just trounces. It doesn't really trounce. I shouldn't say trounce. It beat them by 1 point, but clearly. Made a statement tonight by beating, depending on how you look at it, 7th or 8th ranked team in the state, clearly the number 4 team in the Pac-5, but a gigantic win for North, and we may be looking at a team that could be. Are we going to see a repeat of the baseball season that we saw that Chris Erkley and Murphy and all those guys got a chance to cover when the baseball team came out of nowhere to win the major Division I championship last year? It's a very exciting possibility because the conversation for the last couple of years has been basically around 4 teams: Vista Murrieta, Centennial, Norco, and Chaparral. Now we've got North back into the mix, and I'm telling you what, right now, that Inland Division, that looks as good as it's ever been before, because we can't count out Rancho Cucamonga, we can't count out Upland, we can't count out Chino Hills, we can't count out Charter Oak. So, it's going to be fun to see how it happens, and that's going to be a great division. And in fact, North, with the win, basically opens a conversation. I know Dave Zink would be horrified by this, but it's only a second game, but there's obviously a state bowl implications there.
I just wanted to ask you, Lewis, is this shocking?
Of course it's shocking, Dave.
I'm just asking.
Are you horrified, Zink?
I'm not horrified at all. I just wanted to know if this was shocking.
I think it's enlightening. It's shocking that a team that was not regarded at all, really. I mean, we had some suspicions that Coach Paradis would get things going at North, but to see his team take out a team that went to the Pac-5 semifinals, that had won 2 big games. Of course, they hadn't really played anybody, necessarily going into this, but physically, Alemany, does great things. They compete against some really impressive programs, not only in the Pac-5, but those other conferences were like Hart and some of those others that are up there. So it's a very interesting. Maybe it is a little bit shocking that they did what they did tonight, but kind of cool nonetheless. Wouldn't you agree, Zink?
I totally agree. I like the fact that there is that the Inland Division, which you think is the most predictable of the divisions, has turned into kind of shake and bake. Everyone's in there and they're jumping around. Who knows who's going to win?
The other one that I really am fascinated by too. I don't like seeing teams get beat up like this, but Kaiser's done a lot of beating up on people in the past, and I really Kaiser you have to love what they've done historically. But Cajon's win tonight, man, that was a huge win, and it really if you think about last year, Cajon got rattled by Kaiser. Kaiser shut him out, and then they went on this run to the semifinals and they lost by like 2 points to Colton. So the Kaiser is kind of a defining moment for Cajon. But do we have those Alamany video ready to go?
We do. Let's hold on one second. Let's run.
I'm going to throw it to a real pro here.
Okay.
Throw it to Pep here.
Alamany and North, and we have the Cajon highlights as well on our website. So if you want to check those out. What's funny was we didn't even mention DeMonte Casey. We mentioned his twin brother in the highlights. He had a big game, and obviously their quarterback Edwin Martinez is very good for the Cowboys. But we're talking Alamany and North early highlights. Adam Drexler, the shout out for shooting these highlights here on HS Game Time Live. That's Justin Georgie to Denzel Foster, 33 yards. It's to Garrett Biggers. That was a flea flicker there. And then later, Georgie going 44 yards, hooking up with Aaron Peck. I love the southpaw throw. Big gain there, and he's going to be down just about the doorstep. So Georgie is going to punch it in for the score, 7-zip North at that point in the first quarter. So now let's fast forward to the second quarter. Alamany doing work on offense. Devin Dunn, 21 yards to Stephen Mitchell. Big gain there. And then more from Alamany. This time it's Dunn going 40 yards here to Jericho Richardson. That led to a 2-yard touchdown run by Cameron Washington. But they did not get the extra point. It was 7-6 North. Later, North with the Alamany with the ball, but North's Leon Smith comes up with the interception there for the Huskies. 39 yards on the return, all the way down to about the 3-yard line. And then it's Foster punching in the 2-yard touchdown run, and North goes up 14-6. As we mentioned, this was a close game. Alamany, back and forth we go. Dunn, 27 yards to Jeff Farr, and then Alamany would get the score here. Cameron Washington from 4 yards out. It was 14-14 at that point, and it was close all the way to the end as North comes away with a 36-35 victory against Alamany, who's a top 10 team in the state. So a quality win for the North Huskies tonight against Alamany. And as we mentioned, Cajon and Kaiser. Cajon beating up on Kaiser. Rich Ubrajas, one of the writers here at the Press Enterprise, said he liked Cajon to win the San Andreas League, and so far they're looking very good. And this could be the year that Summit knocks off Kaiser's decade of dominance over in the Sunkist League. So Kaiser may be a little vulnerable, especially after the Cowboys beat them 52-7, the final score in that one. And I was at Pauley Arlington tonight. That was an incredible game. I was telling Lewis and Zink earlier that I kept calling in and sending texts because I thought I had the game of the night. And I was like, come on, guys, put me on the air. I got to talk about this game. It's crazy. And
little did you know we were talking about Alamany and North.
Yeah, Alamany North, and then Cajon obviously beating Kaiser in such a big way. I think is a surprise because Kaiser's a very good team. So the margin of victory, that one was kind of striking. So
all right, we're going to go through scores real quick, and we're going to take. Pep and I will kind of trade off on these here and get through these as we close out the show. All right, Centennial on the road at Mater Dei had a rally in this one. They win 28-20 against Mater Dei. Centennial improves to 1-1. Mater Dei falls to uncharacteristic and uncomfortable 0-2.
And Hayden Gavitt on late night tonight about 12:20 with Chris Ercole and Will C. Holden. He had 2 touchdowns late in the game against Mater Dei to rally them past Mater Dei. Fountain Valley, Corona. Corona comes up short in this one, 28-10 your final. Corona still looking for their first win. They're 0-2. They play at Palm Springs on September 23rd.
La Sierra playing host to King, and they win 26-13. King falls to 0-3. La Sierra out to 2-0. They play at Tackwitz next week.
Alamany and North, we just talked about it. North coming away with a 1-point victory, 36-35. They're 2-0. They got Kaiser next, and that's going to send shockwaves throughout the state because Alamany was a top 10 team in California.
All right, well, Pep was at this game. We're going to talk about it a lot, but it was a great win for Riverside Poly. They go to 2-0 on the season. They win 15-14 against a very good Arlington team who falls to 1-1. That game played over at Ramona.
Roosevelt, Marietta Valley, another close one here. Marietta Valley won better than Roosevelt, 35-34 your final score.
All right, Santiago, Vista Murrieta. We had Eric Lee in here talking about that. 25-0, but kind of a game where you didn't really know how Santiago would perform when their best players were out due to injuries, including the quarterback Matt Darr in the second half. Vista Murrieta moves to 2-0. They're ranked number 2 in the Inland Division with a good win, 25-0.
Yeah, they were Santiago not at full strength in that one. Citrus Hill and Great Oak. Citrus Hill behind Davy and Payne all over Great Oak. 42-7 your final score. So Citrus Hill 3-0 to start the season. Great start for them.
Next one, Drexler. Maybe. Well, I think the thing that's interesting about this one is that the emergence of the quarterback, Hodge, there. And that, here we go. And now we're going to go to this one. Wait, go back.
But you're right. Citrus Hill, now they can have a balanced attack to go with Payne. If they're going to throw the ball a little bit, it's going to free up Payne to they're not going to load up the box. Payne's going to have some big runs. Yeah. It's only going to increase his numbers.
Other weapons now.
Yeah.
All right, well, this is Murrieta Mesa winning 48-15 over Tahakowitz. Tahakowitz falls to 0-3. Murrieta Mesa looking good, 2-0. And the one score we skipped, here it is. There it is.
Temecula Valley and Lakeside. Temecula Valley coming away 21-17. Tale of two teams right now. Temecula Valley 3-0. Lakeside winless now 0-3.
You know what's interesting about this one, Pep, is that Lakeside had like a 10-0 or 17-0 lead, I believe, in the first half and couldn't hold off Temecula Valley. Temecula Valley wins that one in the second half.
Tale of two halves as well. Paris and Canyon Springs. A lot of close games tonight, Lewis. 1-point games. Another one. Paris on top of Canyon Springs, 23-22. Canyon Springs so close to getting their first win of the season. They're 0-3 right now.
Palm Springs taking care of Moreno Valley. The Chris Erkley special. The Indians go to 3-0 on the season with a 54-21 rout of Moreno Valley, which now is 0-3. By the way, I think Moreno Valley is played like a 6-1 schedule or a 7-1 schedule. Actually a fairly difficult schedule now.
The old PS 54-21. Congratulations, Chris Erkley. And I'd love to talk about Palm Springs more, but if we can go to the next score, that'd be great. Norte Vista and Ramona. This was a Thursday night game. I was there. It was 3-0 at half, Lewis. Not much action in the first half. And in the third quarter, they each scored 2 touchdowns to really get the scoreboard going. And it was Norte Vista coming away with a 22-14 win. It was actually very close all the way into the finish, but Norte Vista.
TJ Miller looked good on that one run you had there of that video.
Yeah, he broke loose on a long touchdown run to make it. I think it was a 16-14 game at that point in the third quarter.
Valley View goes to 3-0 on the season, and they win 21-6. Let's go through the rest of these scores real quick. Go ahead, Pep.
Heritage Beaumont. Heritage 34-9. They're 3-0.
Indio and Hemet. Hemet gets his first win of the season.
Give it up for Hemet.
Yeah, give it up for the Bulldogs. 7-0. 7-game losing streak snapped. San Jacinto at Cathedral City. They go to 2-1 with a 40-20 win.
West Valley, Paloma Valley, all over West Valley. 58-21. West Valley's 0-3.
Diamond Ranch visiting Elsinore. Elsinore comes away with the win 27-20. That game was tight the whole way through.
Steel Canyon, Temescal Canyon, Steel Canyon a winner, 24-10.
And Summit taking care of Fohi tonight, 42-0.
Redlands, Los Osos. Redlands back-to-back losses now. They lose at Los Osos, 21-15. And Rev taking on San G. Rev, those highlights are on our website. 35-0. They win at San Gorgonio. They're 2-0, number 1 ranked team.
Yucaipa 42-3 over Little Rock, and we talked about Yucaipa going 3-0 early. Coming into that game, it's outscored opponents 95-0. Well, add 3 onto that one and 42, and they're
still impressive.
All right, come back to us, and finally Cajon beating Kaiser 52-7. That's going to do it for tonight here on HS Game Time Live. Pep,
we had a lot of highlights. I was pumped. It was fun.
It was a great night. Stick around. We're going to take a little bit of a break. We'll be back here in a few minutes for the late night show with Chris Erkley and Will C. Holden coming up next here on HS Game Time Live. Late night coming up.